across the street.
Right, exactly. So it's a west, and then it's a karaoke place.
Karaoke, you go Sing Sing, sometime during the night, and then
So what is yours down?
down.
Oh, so yours is like a venue.
Sweetie.
Oh, okay, yes, it's where Arrow
Used to be, yeah.
You should sit over there because the mic will be right, because of the mic.
You got it, good idea.
Okay, so yours is like a venue place, right? It has a piece, no?
It used to be called Arrow Bar.
That's when I used to go more.
You used to go there, right?
Yes.
An hour by.
I used to go to Arrow Bar and Elvis as well.
And what happened to that kind of like?
Are you the applicant?
It was like really, so Elvis's house was run by Billy. So it was done by a guy named Billy Jones, and it was like I used to go there when I was like 24 years old, like wild, 24-year-old, whatever.
Okay,
And
so
it was
you're
like
promoted, you should have co-host abilities.
like people were like,
But not hours.
Arrow Bar was worse.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
I guess.
but the landlord didn't renew their lease because of the disturbances that the previous operators.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Because there was like, they're doing live music.
For everyone on Zoom, just give us 1 more minute. We're just getting everything ready to go.
The Senate code is- that's-
Oh, you did this like,
Yeah,
how do you know that?
well, I know Kathy, Kathy's
Oh,
a friend of mine.
You know Kathy?
Yeah.
No way.
And so, one of our friends had like a going with her.
Okay, awesome. You see my cousin Karen then?
I don't know your cousin, so I don't know.
You just know Kathy.
Yes, I
They
do.
don't spend most, I think they spend most of their time upstate New York.
Oh, yeah. I
They got
would
like a
say.
I'm on
farm.
hold, but they're sending an email
Where are they?
to for my flight.
Do you want to,
Yes.
do you want to do your, do you want
His
to?
cousin and then his,
Are there, is it
brother.
orders on?
Yeah.
sorry, Mike, so it's two of my cousins.
I know all girlfriends, because there's another one.
Jenny, yeah. You know Jenny too?
I know Jenny.
Yeah. Jenny
They
and
need
Kathy,
to
yeah, so
announce.
my cousin's been with Jenny.
Not
for
really.
No?
His name's Tommy.
Right, right.
Years. And then,
I see them just like on vacation fishing all the time.
yeah, so they go to Florida.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they have, so our,
You want to wait for
our dad,
it?
my uncle and my dad were partners at Western. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and that's how we got, like, I stayed in the city and they ended up going to Brooklyn and upstate New York. So they had 2 places.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the CB3 SLA committee meeting for February 10th, 2025. We're going to start by taking a roll call vote of our committee members. Stephen Ballinger.
Here.
Guillermo Zabiglia.
Hi.
Sandy Lay.
Here.
Megan Joy.
Here.
Michael Lavario. Here. Clint Smeltzer here. So I'm going to just start by going over quickly how we are going to handle the meeting this evening. We are going to go through the items. We have 7 items on our agenda tonight. There are a few items that have withdrawn. Number 24, Ixta, which is 299 Bowery, has withdrawn. Number 5, Duff's Famous Wings at 88 Clinton Street has withdrawn. Number 8, Entity to be formed at 165 Allen Street has withdrawn. Number 11, Aesthetic Matters at 235 Bowery has withdrawn. Those items will not be heard this evening. Please watch the calendar if you're interested in that. It may show up in the future. And now I'm just going to go into how we're going to handle each individual item. When your item is called, I will give a brief summary, then hand it over to the applicants or their attorneys. They'll get a chance to add anything or clarify any of the things that I may have missed. We'll then open it up to the public, give the applicant a chance to respond to the public, and then we'll move to a committee vote. If you are here from the public to speak to any items, you will get 2 minutes to speak when your item is up. We do have to stick to that just to kind of maintain order and keep things moving efficiently. And I think if that is everything, we are going to just start. I don't necessarily have any tonight that are more or less. They're all hopefully fairly easy this evening. So I guess we're going to go ahead and just start in order. We're going to do number 2 first. Jazz Bar Room 207, which is 207 2nd Avenue. Would the applicant and their representative please raise your Zoom hand?
Oh, okay.
We will promote you to a panelist on Zoom and allow you to speak.
There.
Okay. Hi, Phil.
Good to see you. I should, before I get started or before I let you take the floor, I just want to make sure Rajesh is in the meeting as well.
Yes, I think he's just being promoted now as we speak.
Great.
This all sounds great. I did that. I did.
Yep. Accepted the. Okay, he accepted the invite, so it's just taking a little bit to get through the.
I
Does
see
it-
it popped up.
Hi, good evening. I'm here.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick little summary and then I'll hand it over to you for anything else.
Great.
This is JASBA NYC LLC doing business as JASBA is seeking an alteration to its full on-premises license to add additional customer bar, live music, and extend their hours in a premises located at 207 2nd Avenue, which is the corner of 13th Street and 2nd Avenue. This applicant was originally approved back in March of 2023 for an establishment with a C of O of 150 people, 22 tables and 68 seats, one 13-foot bar with 8 seats, serving Indian cuisine from a full kitchen during all its operation, no TVs, playing ambient background recorded music, streaming services only. There are 14 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location was previously licensed with a full OP license to Momofuku Sambar, which was originally approved for beer and wine in 2006. They were then upgraded to full OP in 2007. This business closed during the pandemic. This applicant has been operating restaurants since 1990. One of his other restaurants, Janoon, is an Indian restaurant on 24th Street, has been operating since June of 2021 with no issues. 39 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of the application. So what they're proposing to change is they are extending their hours Sunday through Thursday to 12 a.m., Friday and Saturday to 1:30 a.m. They are currently, and I just had this jotted down. What were your current hours? I think were they till, was it till 11?
It's 10:30 during the week and 11:30 on weekends.
Okay, yeah, 10:30 during the week, 11. So basically you're extending an hour and a half during the week and 2 hours on the weekend.
That's right.
And then they are requesting to add live music, which I'd just like to hear a little bit more about, and then adding a small customer bar at the back of the restaurant.
All right. Do you mind if I take it away from here?
Please go right ahead.
All right. Thanks, Clint. First of all, Happy New Year, everyone. I wasn't here last month at your meeting, so nice to see you all. I am Phil Dorn, attorney with Pizetsky and Bookman. With me, as I mentioned, is Rajesh Bardwaj, who is the owner of JASBA NYC on the southwest corner rather of 13th and 2nd Ave. Rajesh has been open now, as Clint mentioned, for about a year and a half, and he comes to you guys seeking to modify his operation just a little bit. There are 2 parts to the change that we're applying for. One is that we are asking for the extension of hours, as Clint mentioned. He currently closes at 10:30 during the week and 11:30 on weekends, and he's looking to extend those hours to midnight and 1:30. The second part of the change is that he will be adding a second bar in the very back of the restaurant. That part of the establishment is currently used as a private dining space. With limited private dining events, this space is practically being wasted. And so adding a second bar back there will allow customers to enjoy food and beverage more so on a nightly basis. I know some people might hear this and think, oh, later hours at a new bar, here comes the next late night troublesome spot. But I want to just make a few quick points, a few important points. One is that there will be no seats at the bar, and it will be seated service at tables only in that back room. So it will not be anyone bellying up to the bar. You will have to be seated at a table and be served by a server.
So it's not a customer bar, it's a service bar.
In practice, yes, but we want to apply for a customer bar as opposed to a service bar, just in case something down the road changes. We would want to.
I was just asking for clarification on that, but that's fine.
And we're happy to stipulate to being served at tables only. That is absolutely not in the intention. It's rather have the more encompassing bar category than a service bar, but it will be a service bar in practice 100%. As far as the hours go, they're still relatively early in our opinion. This is not some late night lounge or club. It's just midnight during the week and 1:30 on weekends, in an attempt to drive a little more revenue out of that space. To my previous point about it not being a club or a nightlife venue, this is an Indian restaurant. It's not attracting young rowdy crowds that you might see further downtown. This is a quiet, traditional, harmless restaurant located on 2nd Avenue all the way up near 14th. To our knowledge, it's not only not bothering anyone, but it has been a welcome addition to the neighborhood, supported by the fact that you saw all the petition signatures that we submitted. Lastly, we believe that Rajesh has earned the benefit of the doubt over the last year and a half. He has not received a single complaint during that time. No disciplinary history at this space or at any of his other past restaurants. As you mentioned, he's been in the restaurant business since the 90s, all of which have wonderful track records. The last thing I'll mention, you asked about the music. It would really only be for special occasions, a Valentine's Day or a New Year's Eve. It will be quiet background music only. This is not entertainment level, perhaps a violinist or at most an acoustic guitar. It's not bands. It's nothing of that nature. This is for diners to enjoy their dinner. So with those comments, we hope that you see this as a good thing for a small business that is succeeding in this neighborhood, but could use a little extra help. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. I do have just a couple little clarifying questions. So I know there's an entrance in this back room as well. Are you using that on a regular basis?
It will be used, yes.
So you're using the front entrance on 2nd Avenue, but you are also using the entrance back on the further back on 13th Street.
Once this alteration is complete, yes.
Okay. And I guess my question is, you're not. It sounds like you're not intending on this to be essentially like a separate bar area that you would kind of operate. I don't want to say separately because it is all one business, but you're not going to operate this back section as a bar separate from the restaurant, or it's all going to be operated as a full service sit down restaurant, right? The intent isn't to change the way this has been operating other than use this more frequently than a private room.
Well, it's kind of in the middle somewhere because we are dabbling with the idea of doing a separate DBA for that back portion, but it is going to be a full menu as well. So it'll still be restaurant service. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And then on the questionnaire, the one thing that I had highlighted was you had checked off for the outdoor dining. I think you had checked off both I will not use outdoor space commercially, and you checked off I will close all outdoor dining at 10 p.m. What's your intent?
Rajesh, you know the answer to that off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, that's fine. We only use the outdoor till, our dining hours, which is like 10:30, and technically, the outdoor is, it's not an outdoor, it's within the limits of the property, because the property is yeah, so it's in the survey, so we are using that, and we covered that part as part of the extension of the restaurant. So there's no additional outdoor space on a sidewalk which has been taken, and having said that, we currently just operate till our dining hours, which were stipulated, so we only operate till 10 o'clock. and not past that, we don't do it.
Okay, so you're agreeing to checking off, you will close all outdoor dining under the open restaurants program at 10 p.m.
Well, it won't be under the dining out program because the seating.
But it's yeah, we call it under the outdoor dining program or any other outdoor dining by 10. I know it's in your property line, so it's not outdoor dining, but.
Yes, so currently our bar says we close at 10:30. So if you allow me to just leave it at till 10:30, that 30 minutes, that's fine. Now currently we do at 10 o'clock, we do. But the guests are sitting who come in at like 9:30 and sit down there and having their meal. Sometimes they go beyond like 10:15 or 10:30. We don't serve them liquor after 10:30 because that's, as stipulated. But if they're sitting down there, we just can't tell them to get off and go. But, that's the extent of what we do with the outdoor. But we don't seat people after the permitted hours.
You can take it down now. I guess the thing is, across the board, our kind of general rule in CB3 is we're asking everyone to close at 10 simply because we do have so many issues with outdoor noise and conflicts with with residents. And especially like in this area of Upper 2nd Avenue, I know it's the Verizon building across the street, but still it adds to the noise and the problems on the street. Are you willing to agree to 10?
That's fine. We're okay with that.
Good. Thank you very much for being flexible with that. So I mean, that was the only thing I had highlighted that we needed clarification on the questionnaire. Before we go to the committee, is anyone here from the public to speak to this item? Please raise your Zoom hand. Okay, so no one, I don't see anyone here for that. So does anyone else in the committee have any other questions for the applicant?
Can I ask you your experience? How do you feel about the second door?
It makes me a little bit nervous in some ways. I know it is, I've been there before not a while ago, but not long after they opened. I know it is a legit restaurant now. I'm not going to go as far as say it concerns me, but I've seen things like this that can turn into a problem. But you're assuring us that even if you are going to operate that as a second DBA, it's going to be a full service sit down restaurant. It is not going to be operated as a bar. Same hours as obviously as the existing business, correct?
Correct, right. Correct, and also it's going to be purely by reservations only. So no lines or stuff like that. It's not like a bar. It's going to be completely on, and it's a small place with 28 seats only, and we intend doing like 2.5, 3 turns. That's our intent. If we are able to do that business, that's how we're going to operate.
Because that's just my, it sounds like you're not planning on that, but that's just my concern is that it would turn into a separate little bar, speakeasy bar, or something along those lines. But it sounds like that's not your plan. And I think we'd probably stipulate something along those lines, which you can figure out just that, the back space with the separate entrance will always be operated as a full service sit down restaurant or something along those lines.
Yeah, we'd be happy to agree to that.
Okay. Okay, anyone else in the committee have any other questions, concerns, comments?
Will it still be Indian cuisine?
Yes.
Okay, that's it for me.
Oh, I guess the other thing, just a little bit more, you said for the live music, you said it would be simply like a violin, it'll be acoustic.
And mostly that's going to be on special occasions, like I just said, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, or some other occasions, and only one person playing there.
No bands, no, just one musician, nothing amplified, and again we'd be happy to.
The live music would be a single musician, no amplification, acoustic, non-amplified. Will this be? I mean, will this just be in the backspace? Will it be? Where would the musician be?
In the backspace.
Okay. And just, anytime, even if it is acoustic, windows and doors have to be closed, which I don't think there are operable windows in the backspace, are there?
No.
So yeah, that's not an issue anyways. Anyone have an issue with that, a single musician, acoustic? And you're saying special occasions, do you want to say a certain time, like, I don't know, 6 times a year or something, or?
Can we do 12? Can we do once a month, just as a round number?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine, especially one single non-amplified musician most likely isn't gonna be a huge impact, so.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put the stipulations up on the screen and go through with what we've just discussed. Can you make this big? Can you?
I'm asking, Caroline. So what are you gonna do? How long you said?
There we go. Sorry, that's part. Yeah. That's it. A little bit. Okay, so it's I, Rajesh.
I can spell it for you. BHARD
Oh, there's a D. Okay, BHARDWA.
WAJ.
AJ. Screw that all up. As a qualified representative of Jarzab NYC LLC, located at 207 2nd Avenue.
Interrupting you already. It's JAZBA. JAZBA.
White is.
No R.
No R. There we go. Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it momentarily. Okay, located at 207 2nd Avenue. It would be a full beer, wine, liquor license. Will operate a full service restaurant, specifically an Indian restaurant with kitchen and open serving food during hours of operation. Hours of operation will be 11:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
And it arrives at 6.
And then for the outdoor space, it's going to be, I will close all outdoor dining allowed under the temporary open restaurant program and any other outdoor uses by 10 p.m. all days, and not have speakers or TV monitors. You don't need soundproofing.
Okay, okay.
And you don't have any operable windows then? It is a closed fixed facade?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay. We'll have a closed fixed facade, except your entrance doors are closed by 10 p.m. You will not have DJs, third-party promote events, any event which a cover fee is charged for scheduled performances. You will have live music, and then we're going to put in here that live music will be composed of no more than one musician and no more than 12 times per year.
Thank you.
Great.
Non-amplified.
Yeah, oh, sorry, put it on, yeah, one non-amplified acoustic / non-amplified musician, no more than 12 times per year. So it won't be on the recording, so we don't need to check that. Will not apply for an alteration without coming to CV3. Will not participate in pub crawls or party buses. Will not have unlimited drink specials, including boozy brunches with food. Will not have a happy hour. Will not have wait lines. Will have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering, noise, or crowds. Will post the stipulation by the liquor license. Residents may contact the owner or manager at the number below. And it's Rajesh, and it's BHARDWAJ.
Correct.
And it's 917-517-1596. And then I think we are just going to add under number 18, we'll the back room will be operated at all times as a full service sit-down restaurant.
Great.
Is that it? Do you think that everyone agree that that encompasses what we were talking about? I don't think we need much more than that. Okay. That's everything we discussed then? Looks good to you?
Looks good.
Okay, we will move to a committee vote. Stephen Ballinger?
Yes.
Sandy Lay?
Yes.
Guillermo Zavicki?
Yes.
Megan Joy?
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer, yes. Michael Lavario?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes. We will be sending out the stipulations for you to sign and return, instructions from the office.
Very good. Thank you all.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do have our district manager, Susan Stetzer, is just going to make a couple quick little announcements here before we move on to the next item.
Okay, thank you. Just want to let all the representatives, lawyers, and representatives know that in the future, when you get a, what do you call the letters? When the SLA.
Termination.
Pardon?
Termination.
No, it's, when the SLA sends you a letter that you're missing some information.
Notice of deficiency.
Notice of deficiency. We're going to require to see the notice of deficiency because there have been some issues we've had to deal with recently. I'll let it go at that. So, so just please be understanding, and we'll try and deal with it right away. But we will need to see the letter. And Clint, there was something else I was going to say that.
It was that.
Is that it?
No, we have two things: deficiencies and. Should have wrote it down.
We should have written it down.
Write it down.
So we'll have another announcement mid-meeting.
We'll think about it.
If we can remember what it is. It's clearly very important.
It's clearly very important.
Thank you. And any questions, please let us know.
Thank you, Susan. Anyways, okay, so we're going to move right on to item number 3, which is Andy's Burrows LLC at 5 St. Mark's Place.
Yes.
You're the applicant?
Yes.
Perfect. And just, I don't think you didn't sign in, did you?
No, I was in PS20. I thought that.
Oh, that's
I'm so
where our full board meetings, that's okay, you're here in time, that's great.
I'm supposed to speak in the
Yes.
microphone?
Yeah, so that I'll pick up.
So what I think you did this at the beginning of the meeting, I'm just gonna give a quick summary, and then I'll hand it over to you to add anything that I missed or that needs to be corrected.
Okay, sounds good.
So give me just 1 second to get yours.
Something
So- A-Roll Bar and Grill, previously Lex 18 Incorporated, doing business as Andy's Burrows, is seeking a full on-premises license in the premises located at 5 St. Mark's Place between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. This is an application for an establishment of 34 people, 11 tables, 34 seats, with a bar with 6 seats, burritos and burrito bowls with a full kitchen and prep area serving food during hours of operation. Hours of operations are 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. No television streaming music. Only there are 18 establishments licensed within 1 block for the SLA lamp map. This applicant has been a license holder at Taqueria St. Mark's, Taqueria Gramercy, Taqueria Lower East Side, 79 St. Mark's Place, 218 3rd Avenue, 198 Orchard Street. And there were no other commercial 311 complaints at this location since 2018. 40 residents who live within 2 blocks. Location signed a petition in favor of the application. The one thing to note is that the petitions on this petition sheet did say the closing hours of 2 a.m., not 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I made a mistake. It's actually 2 a.m.
You're leaving it at, okay,
Yeah, we don't need 4 a.m.
great. That's actually perfect, because
Yeah.
otherwise, once you have to sign it, you're telling them 4 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's 2 a.m.
2 a.m., yeah.
Earlier is fine, we just wouldn't go later.
Yeah.
That's fine. So yeah, they are proposing hours of opening no later than 11 a.m., closing by 2 a.m. Sunday through Thursday. Actually, it's 11 a.m., 2 a.m.
Every day.
Every day,
Yeah.
every day, because we're not doing the
Friday to Sunday.
Nope, that's perfectly fine. Let's
Yeah.
make that
The
correction.
petition was correct, the application,
Wasn't.
yeah, correct.
Right.
And it will close all outdoor dining by 10 p.m. Yeah, that seems to be, you're not having security, and you will install soundproofing.
We have it so we can't see.
It's spotlight and Michael.
Oh,
Should I get?
No, you're fine.
yeah, closing all front and rear facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. Ambient background record music only. Yeah. Okay. So I think that, oh, you are proposing to have happy hours until 10 p.m. each night.
Then you should be able to do it from there.
Hit the at the top. Can you do it from yours?
He's a host, so he should be able to.
It's the view, yeah. If you change the view from yours, I think you can.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Just go to the view at the top and
Speaker or gallery?
go.
Oh, because that's what we got now. So great.
There you go.
Okay, so that was my quick little summary. I'll hand it over to you for anything else you'd like to add or correct with what I've said.
Okay, yes, this. Oh, thank you.
Just pick enough for us, but if there's anyone on Zoom, that's hard for them to hear otherwise.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Andrea Barraza, and as you said, my husband and I own a family business. We have 3 restaurants in Jersey City and 2 restaurants here, where you said 79 St. Mark's and 218 3rd Avenue. And before that, we had the Lower East Side, but that one closed. The same landlord that our same landlord from 79 St. Mark's is the landlord at 5 St. Mark's, and he asked us to take over because the previous restaurant owner wasn't able to succeed in the location and abandoned the business basically. The previous owner from Lex 18, I think is the name of the previous corporation. They were there for 14 years and they were very successful. They had a 4 a.m. Liquor license. I don't need a 4 a.m. liquor license. 2 a.m. is fine. But I would like to have it because it's Mexican food and I want to serve margaritas with it. So, and that has been our concept for 20 years. So I would like to continue it to make this restaurant successful. I did want to add something. I heard from the previous applicant, there was some confusion with the application because of the sidewalk cafe. I was also a little bit confused with that because I don't have a lot of space in front of that restaurant. It's very small. So I said no, that, as of now, I don't want to apply for a sidewalk cafe.
You're the space step down. You step down.
Yeah.
You don't plan on putting even a table or 2 out in that front space?
Well, I don't know. I don't see the space. There's like 2, yeah.
It would be really small. It would be tiny.
2 tables.
But I think you would have the same situation, I think, as the previous.
The previous owner?
I think I'm not positive. You would need to check probably with your landlord or even with your lease. But I think that space is probably within your property line, so it's not considered a sidewalk cafe.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Where is that?
5 St. Mark's. It's right in from.
Yeah, a lot of the St. Mark's are probably.
Because she's one of the ones that you step down into the space.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming, again, don't quote me on this, but I'm assuming that space is within your property line.
Okay.
So if that's the case, you don't have to go to DOT for a sidewalk cafe permit. It's considered within your property line and you can use that.
Okay.
But what we do still ask is that if you agree to close it, move anything inside by 10 p.m.
Oh, absolutely.
And you need to let the SLA know you're using outdoor space and have the license extended to that.
Okay.
So we will, in the resolution stipulations, we'll change that. I think you had checked off.
Just in case.
That you won't, but we'll check it off that if you decide to use that, we'll check off I will close all outdoor dining by 10 p.m.
Okay.
That way, and if you don't want to use it, then you don't have to, but that's just
I
so that.
wouldn't call it outdoor. I would say outside.
Well,
Close all outside use.
Yeah.
that's what our stipulations, that's what our, it says anything under the restaurant's purview or any outdoor.
Or any outdoor.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll change it. I think you had checked off, I will not, but we'll go ahead and just we'll change that to say, if you do decide any outdoor use will be closed by 10 p.m.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, anything else you'd like to add or to anything that I said or?
No, you said it all.
Okay, and I think you were here, I think you signed up to speak, but you decided if you were going to speak or?
So, Pauline and Nathan and Flora, our neighbors. And they have been associated with 79 St. Mark's, with Taqueria St. Mark's place. Pauline used to work for us, and but she still lives in that same block. So they're here to support us.
We'd like to hear from Flora first.
Yeah. So cute. She's a year older.
Oh my goodness.
And I know when you signed up, you said you were just here possibly for somebody. Anything you would like to add or say? Just that.
No, just that we, I worked for the Brazos for 10 years and,
I mean, I think.
Oh, sorry.
I worked for the Brazos for 10 years and we've lived in the neighborhood for over 20 years. So, we're not only really attached to them and their, their businesses, but also to the neighborhood. So we have a mutual appreciation for both and think it's a great concept and it'll fit really well there. And that the neighbors, will appreciate us and will appreciate the business,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was also the taqueria that was on Allen Street a while ago.
Orchard Street.
Oh, Orchard Street.
Yeah, and then the landlord sold the land to a developer.
Okay.
And they put up the huge monstrosity. Yeah. What was it? What is it?
Marshalls.
Oh, the Marshalls.
The
but-
CVS, Marshalls.
Yeah, that one's right. The only thing that survived there was cats, but everything else was sold, is gone. I know. You don't wanna.
Don't wanna be there.
Good.
I have a problem with this bar, is that they're Dodgers fan. I have been, but nice to, I mean, that block as well, and they're being a great operator besides that
Thank
thing
you.
that, to see those people. who see-
Is there, before you go, is there anyone from the public here to speak for this? Please raise your Zoom hand if you are. We'll... Seeing no one. Okay, anyone else from the committee have any questions or comments about this item? It was a pretty straightforward one.
Was this previously full liquor?
Yes, it was previously like.
Until 4.
Until 4?
And yes, it was. Until
Well, there-
she said there was in March too, so.
Yeah, I know, back when I was.
Yeah, was just gonna be 2 AM every night?
2 a.m. every night. Okay, I think then we'll go ahead and put the stipulation, so we'll put the stipulations, just read through them on the screen, so that you know what we are voting on.
Okay.
Is 5 right next to, is it the first one after the new building, or no?
Yes, the very first one after the new building, and then there's the dumplings.
Yeah, then I know exactly, then it's like the Thai dumplings, right?
Yeah, the Thai dumplings, right?
Okay, so it's I, Andrea A. Barraza,
Yes.
qualified representative of Andy's Burrows LLC, located at 5 St. Mark's Place, will operate a full-service restaurant, specifically a Mexican restaurant, with kitchen open serving food during hours of operation. Hours of operations are all days 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. So you change that to I will close all outdoor dining allowed under the Ample Restaurants program or any other outside use by 10 p.m. all days, and will not have speakers or TV monitors outdoors. You will install soundproofing and just put what you put in your form as the 2 layers.
We already did.
Okay, so it's already.
It's already done. I said will, because
Well,
when I
that's-
filled out
if
the
the
application, we
property's
were in
filled
the process of, right.
Then you will close any front and rear facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. every night or when amplified sound is playing. You will not have, and I think you are having DJs?
Do you have any snacks and shit?
I didn't know. I put in just in case, but we never had DJs before. I just thought, it would be nice maybe to try it.
By DJs, would it be something like?
Someone playing music in there.
Just someone managing a playlist or something?
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily consider that. If someone's just curating a playlist or managing a playlist, a DJ is where they're coming in and setting up not necessarily a booth, but they're gonna have their table and their whole DJ thing, and it's more of a DJ's activity.
Yeah, no, there's not gonna be any dancing or anything, no.
So it would just be someone managing a playlist or putting in their playlist.
So I think I made a mistake on that.
That's fine. So we'll check off you will not have DJs.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So you want to live music, third party promoted events, any of the cover fee is charged. Take off the DJ.
Yeah, more than one DJ a month, but.
And then you're still asking for one private party, no more than one private party per month?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I don't think we have a problem with that. We're just.
Yeah. So close the restaurant for a private party.
And what we consider a private party is an entire buyout of your whole place.
That's a private party?
That's what we consider a private party.
Right, okay.
So.
No, well, the thing is, with this location, if you've been there, right?
I mean.
It has a kitchen in the front, and the dining room is in the back. So the kitchen in the front is takeout, right? So if we have, what I'm envisioning is if we have a private party, we'll close the dining room for that, for the private party, and in the front there's a little counter, so the kitchen will still be open for the public, and they can sit at the counter if they want to.
Okay. So, but I mean, I don't think we have a problem with one private party per month. If you want to say one private party per month, that's fine.
That's good.
And your music is gonna be at background level, right, where
Yeah.
people can still talk, it's not gonna be blasting and
No.
concert.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we'll check off, you will play recorded background music only.
Yeah,
You will not apply for an alteration without coming to CB3.
okay,
It's a full, you can uncheck change of class, because it's full. You will not participate in pub crawls or party buses. You don't have unlimited drink specials, including boozy brunches. You will have a happy hour that will end by 10 p.m. You will not have wait lines outside. You will have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering crowds or noise. You will post the stipulations by your license, and residents may contact the manager owner at the number below. And it's Andrea A. Barraza, and it's 917-660-7265.
correct,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. So then we will move to a vote. Stephen Ballinger,
Yes.
Sandy Lay,
Yes.
Guillermo Isabel,
Yes.
Megan Joy,
Yes.
Clint Switzer, yes. Michael Lavari.
Yes.
Okay. So your motion passes. I don't know, did you have a attorney or representative?
No,
Okay, so the office will be sending you out the stipulations that we just went through within the next day. The office will send those out with stipulations and instructions on what to do, which means you basically have to get them to by Friday.
Yeah, we have extra time, so it'll be Friday end of day.
Yeah, so it'll be Friday by the end of the day. You just have to sign them and then get them notarized and return them to the office.
okay.
But they'll have instructions in the email when they send them to you.
Oh, okay, in an email?
Yeah, they'll send them in an email
Okay, so I'll get it in an email, I'll print it, I get it signed in front of a notary
and
and
just get them returned to the office and then you'll be
And
set.
Scan it, and just email it back.
scan it, email it. Easy.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
great,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much, thank you, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Can you need this?
Yes.
Yes, please, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We can go?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay, time for my second announcement. This is a public service announcement to save businesses a lot of money because
Now I remember what it was too.
for some
yes.
reason, a lot of businesses in this area think they're allowed to have enclosed sidewalk cafes. They put up those canvas or other structures. They're completely illegal. They're illegal with DOT outdoor dining. They're illegal with Department of Buildings. The Department of Buildings summons can start at $4,000, which is why I'm making this announcement. You're allowed to have a winter vestibule of 25 square feet in front of the door with no furniture in it. Other than that, you're not allowed to have an enclosure. So it's just an alert. DOT is inspecting. A lot of people are complaining. So they're also complaint driven inspections.
Okay. Thank you for that, Susan. Okay, so next we're going to move on to Rui LLC at 15 to 17 Doyer Street. The applicants or the representatives are here. Please raise your Zoom hands.
Hello.
Hi, Annie, you're the applicant, I think, correct?
Yes, I am the applicant.
Do you have an attorney or representative here at all, or?
No.
No? Okay, no problem. Okay, so as you heard, I'm gonna give a quick summary and then I'll hand it over to you for anything you'd like to add. So,
Okay, thank you.
Rui LLC doing business it's a pending DBA is seeking a full on-premises liquor license for the premises located at 15 to 17 Doyer Street between Pell and Bowery. It's an application for establishment. It's a pending, I assume it's gonna be a 75 or under.
Yes, it's tiny. It's 24 seats.
Yep, with 9 tables, 24 seats, 1 bar with 4 seats, a full kitchen serving food during hours of operation, no TVs, background music only. There are 6 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet as per the lamp map. This was a previously unlicensed location. Annie Shi is the applicant. She has Jupiter Restaurant in CB5 and King Restaurant in CB2. How long have you had those? Have you been?
King is 9 years old and Jupiter is 2 years old.
Okay. Okay. There have been 5 311 complaints at this location with police action since 2018. We did receive an email from the Chinatown Core Neighborhood Association opposing the application due to its unlicensed history and unlicensed location and no benefit to, they don't see a benefit to the community as per the 500-foot rule. 26 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of the application. They are proposing hours of opening no later than 12 p.m. and closing by 2 a.m. all days. They are proposing outdoor dining. They will close all outdoor dining under the temporary open restaurants program and any other outdoor uses by 10 p.m. with no speakers or TV outside. Close all front and rear facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. Ambient recorded but background music only with no scheduled performances, promoted events, DJs. No happy hours, no unlimited drink specials. Is there anything you would like to go ahead and add, Annie, or elaborate on what I've said? Maybe even just tell us just a little bit about what you're proposing as your concept.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Annie. I grew up in New York City and spent a lot of my childhood going to Flushing and Chinatown. And I'm really excited at the opportunity to open a wine bar in Chinatown proper. Like you mentioned, I have 2 other restaurants, King and Jupiter, but this is my first concept that will be Chinese food focused. The idea is a wine bar that serves Chinese food. So my background at King and Jupiter is operations and beverage focused. And my passion is wine. And I would just love the opportunity to broaden people's ideas of what cuisines pair well with wine. So there will be a by the glass menu and a by the bottle selection. I'm applying for a full liquor to offer 3 pre-batch cocktails for people who don't like wine or can't drink wine, along with non-alcoholic options and a beer. And the idea is to offer a small but concise food menu that also kind of goes beyond what is traditionally seen in New York. So a little bit more further afield in terms of regional Chinese cuisines, which tend to pair better with wine than the more popular like Sichuan numbing spicy cuisines. Yeah, that's kind of the concept in a nutshell. And would be happy to answer any more questions that anyone has.
Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and check to see if there's anyone from the public here who would like to speak to this item.
We got a lot of letters, right?
I think, oh yeah, we received 2 letters in opposition, 1 letter in support for this application.
Yes, we have Jan Lee.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to the public, and then we'll give you a chance to respond to anything, any questions or concerns that might come up.
Sure.
Okay, Jan, we've promoted you. You can go ahead and speak.
Hi, thank you, Community Board 3. I'm Jan Lee from the Chinatown Core Block Association. We have decided to oppose this liquor license application for 15 Doyer Street. But before discussing the actual liquor license, it's important to recognize what Doyer Street actually means to Chinatown. As the neighborhood's only DOT approved pedestrian plaza, only 300 feet long with narrow sidewalks, it creates to serve a public benefit, which is free open space for a densely populated low-income community that needs pedestrian-centered areas. Doyer Street is not part of the Open Streets Open Dining program. That's an important distinction. Alcohol is not permitted in the plaza. The space you're looking at for this application is extremely small. And as the applicant had told us, it took her 2 years to find one. It is not an accident that she's targeted one that has what looks like a very large open space to expand out of that tiny space into our public plaza. And they might say that they're going to withdraw the roadbed seating for today, but this is really a Trojan horse that takes place later. And so there's a danger here that issuing the 4th license on a street that already has Chinese tuxedo, pulqueria, A cannabis license has been awarded across the street from this, and Apotheek. You know, they have nighttime activities that already expand beyond their door fronts in the warmer months. And so it's very, very difficult for the neighborhood. And I know that this applicant's also applying for a 2 a.m. closing for many events throughout the year. As many half of the year may be events that go until that time. And as we've seen with the other venues, it's just really difficult to monitor what really should be cherished as an open plaza that has to be observed with different rules. And as DOT has explained, you would have to become a concessionaire to be able to take over that space with a limited number of days, only 29 days a year. So does it make sense to add to this community space more liquor licenses?
That was 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Jan. We will discuss all that momentarily. Is there anyone else here from the public that would like to speak to this item? Okay. So I don't see anyone else at the moment. Annie, would you like to speak to that? What is your, I know, so just for the benefit of the committee, in order for the pedestrian, a DOT approved pedestrian plaza, they cannot, the open restaurants program does not fall under that. The only way they would be able to operate on that is if they were to apply for and receive a concessionaire's license, which has a limitation of 29 days per year. And I think, are there other stipulations on that as well?
Well, they can't. I mean, someone could go inside and take food out, but they can't have any service outdoors.
Yeah. I mean, they could go in. I mean, they could go in and buy stuff and take it out to the tables that are already out there on the pedestrian plaza. But as far as them serving, they would be limited to the 29 days per year. Now, I think, what was the description by the DOT that this has not been approved for concessionaires in this?
They're rewriting the rules as of now, but even if for only 29 days a year, you can't depend on that as a business plan to be able to serve outside. And we don't know what their new rules are going to be and what will be approved.
Yeah.
So I would assume that it would be operating only inside, and you might get some days out that would be able to have a concession. And I don't know what that will cost.
Yeah, so just for the committee's information, that as far as right now, this application that she's applying for does not include outdoor dining because she would have to come back to that separately anyways. And at this point, they're rewriting the concessionaire's license requirements, so that's not even an option at the moment. She will have to come back a second time if that is something that she were to decide to do. And at the moment, it's limited to 29 days per year.
Yeah, when I spoke with my liquor license attorney, they said that I would have to come back for an additional hearing. Like I would have to get my Department of Health food establishment permit and then come back and reapply. So I included it in part of the application just to be upfront, but it's not part of the business plan. And if it doesn't work out under the new rules, that's totally fine.
But does your representative understand this is a plaza and there's no service of alcohol?
They didn't mention that, but again, if that's the rule, then that's fine with me. If they can like buy food inside and take it outside, that would be great.
I suspect most SLA lawyers would not understand this as a plaza.
Yeah, they didn't mention it. But yeah, it would have been, I thought it could have been a sidewalk cafe, but if it's not possible, that's totally fine. Should I respond to now?
Yes, you can go ahead and respond.
Okay, great. Yeah, I understand the historical nature of Doyer Street and I'm very excited to be part of it. When I was gathering signatures, when I spoke to some of the residents, they said that Doyer Street for them in their mind is the perfect location. Like if I had been looking for a space on, for example, Mott Street, they would not have signed my petition in support, but because it is on Doyer Street, they said that it is already kind of where people think when they're going out for a drink and dinner. And so in that instance, they were happy to sign in support of the location. The 2 a.m. license is because my neighbors have it, and also because if I'm doing a buyout or if there's something to celebrate like Lunar New Year, it'd be really great to have the option of a 2 a.m. but it is a wine bar, and I'm not planning to operate until 2 a.m. for the most part. Again, it's going to be open during the day as a coffee and kind of like a coffee and pastry with a little bit of retail. So it's not like there would be late nights. And it's trying to offer something else to the neighborhood. It's a place where you can get a glass of wine before or after dinner. I really want it to be complimentary to the neighborhood. So if you're going to Chinatown with friends or you're there already for dinner, it's a great place to like meet up or go after dinner, and you can still have a conversation and continue kind of enjoying the night before heading home. It's not meant to be a rowdy, boisterous dive bar kind of vibe. It's really meant to be additive to the neighborhood. I'm really excited to be part of it. I'm excited to work with the local purveyors. I'm excited to hire from locals, and really excited to be part of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Annie. I will move to committee members. Does anyone on the committee have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
With your pedigree with Jupiter and King, you certainly have a large following. So what is your plan for crowd control, considering that your space only has 24 seats?
Thank you. That's really complimentary. I am planning on taking reservations for these seats. Some will be held for walk-ins because I think it's always nice to be able to be spontaneous in your evening. I know as a new parent, we don't make reservations as often as we should anymore, but the idea is to have a host or a maitre d', and to be taking reservations for part of the room. I don't anticipate that there would be a line outside. That's never been an issue at any of our restaurants.
Okay. So you mentioned, I guess my one question I have is, you mentioned hours, you don't intend on being open till 2 a.m. every night. You were thinking maybe, I guess, for special events. So you're saying that your posted hours are you're actually gonna have posted hours that are earlier than that at some nights, or?
Yeah. My posted hours, I imagine, will be like midnight, but I thought it'd be nice to have in case there's like a special night that I wanted to be open later, to have the 2 a.m.
So I'm wondering, would that mean that the stipulations would say posted hours are midnight and later 2 a.m. will be on as many occasions as you think, but that the posted hours. The one comment, I just wanted to make one comment because the 2 letters of opposition were actually from groups. They were not from individuals or from large groups. And I noticed when you were talking about the people that you wanted to attract, it was all tourists. You know, you talked about them coming to Chinatown and then having wine before they go home. So I just wanted to mention that, you know, there's also, as you know, a lot of people living there. And I think, you know, they're considered, you know, just to be sure and work with them and take them into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually am in contact with some chefs who work in Chinatown. A lot of the signatures, I went around with a family friend of ours who lives in Chatham Towers. She works at the World Journal newspaper, which has an office on Park Row. And we went around to a lot of their neighbors. They were all really excited. They're my parents' age, so they said that they're not typically out having a glass of wine, but they're excited to come support. So I'm super aware of the people who live and are obviously what make Chinatown amazing is that it's a true neighborhood with residents who care deeply. And I will say that gathering signatures was not like when it was for King. We stood on a corner and were able to gather our signatures that way. With the signatures for this petition, I had to be like taken around by people who lived in the neighborhood, whether it was my super in the building or family friends, and meet people that way. And so I understand how close-knit of a community it is, and I'm really excited to be part of it.
I'm seeing just a food prep area on this map. Is there a full kitchen there?
Yeah, there will be a full electric kitchen. There's no gas in the space, so it'll be an electric kitchen.
So I guess two things that we discussed, just want to circle back with you. So we are going to check off, I think you did have agreed to, and I think this is still, I guess, a pending thing because given it's the pedestrian plaza, but I think for protection, I mean, are you willing to say you will not use outdoor space, or you still want to leave that option open?
I would, as in if I say that I'm never allowed to come back for another hearing, if it is allowed to be outdoor space?
So if you were to say that, and it was allowed to be outdoor space, you could come back for an alteration. You would just have to come back, and then you would also have to alter it on with the SLA as well.
Yeah, from what I understand, I would have to come back anyway for outdoors. I'm not applying, I'm not going to be able to apply for outdoors until next year anyway, from what I understand. And so I would come back to the SLA and to you guys for that additional license.
Because I think the one thing that I've heard both from the letters we received and from Jan who spoke, I think their big fear and concern is the outdoor space. I think you would really put a lot of them at ease if you were to agree that you would not use outdoor space, at least for now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, because that I think probably goes a long way with the residents that had concerns, because that was their main concern, what I heard.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely happy to do that and park it for now, show them that I'm a good operator and a good neighbor, and come back in the future if that is allowed.
Yeah, I mean, you always have the right to come back at any time for modification of what you agreed to this evening, but.
Okay, yeah.
Annie, where's Jupiter and King?
Jupiter is in the Rockefeller Center. It's actually on the ice skating rink level. It's like facing the rink. And then King is on the corner of King Street and 6th Avenue.
Yeah, no, I've been to Jupiter. Are you installing any sort of Ansel system or exhaust system in the kitchen prep area?
Yes, there will be.
Okay.
Hey, Annie, so you say you're not gonna install any type of soundproofing. Have you done any type of tests in regard to sound and in that building? I know there's a lot of old buildings in that neighborhood. But have you done any types of studies or any type of, work in that area?
So I guess we didn't check it off, but we are installing insulation and sheetrock to the ceiling. And right now, in addition to that, I am looking into acoustic paneling, just so that actually both for the upstairs neighbors, but also so that the space is audible, like when you're dining, it's not too noisy. So for sure, the insulation and sheetrock, the acoustic panel is in the budget right now. It's just like more of a financial thing, but the plan is to install it because I want people to be able to come in and have a nice conversation and not have to shout.
Are you willing? So one of our standard things that we usually ask if a space has been previously unlicensed and not used for this type of business is we'll ask the stipulation. We usually say I will install soundproofing if necessary to ensure noise is not audible in the adjacent apartments. Are you willing to agree to that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that, especially as Michael said, in some of these older buildings, you have no idea what's in there until you start opening stuff up, and there may be absolutely no insulation. So that's one thing we ask of, just to protect the neighbors above. Even if it's not going to be a loud ruckus bar, sometimes just background music can be a constant drone for someone above.
Yeah, I'm happy to include that.
Okay.
Can I ask you guys if, because you field all the complaints from the neighborhood, is this an area where there's been police activity on doyers, late nights, something that's an issue?
I have not had complaints in the Doyer area for a long time.
Anyone else on the committee have any concerns or questions?
This one's really tough because it is a very historic street and it is one of the only public places in Chinatown, public space places in Chinatown. And I take my kid over here all the time and it's really nice in the daytime. There's like a coffee shop called Art Bean. She loves the claw machine. feel like adding a drinking establishment is really going to change the makeup. Especially, what hours are you opening?
12. So I would hope to be open during the day too and be an additional spot in the neighborhood where people can stop in and sit. It's such a lovely block. And I feel like there is like that's when you would probably see the most residents. So I definitely want to be open during the day and be part of the neighborhood in that way.
Right, yeah. I mean, it definitely adding a daytime drinking establishment is going to just change that entire corridor, and it's very tight, it's very small, so that's definitely one of my major concerns.
I don't anticipate the daytime to be drinking heavy. I anticipate it to be more of like a sit down coffee, tea, some pastries, some retail. There are some like Asian American artists that I've gotten to know and working on this project who's I would love to like showcase their goods, whether it's ceramics or textiles. So I imagine the daytime concept to be a little bit different and then opening as a wine bar at night.
I don't have many concerns about the method of operation of this business. I feel like I get a good grasp on what she wants to do, and I don't think a wine bar is ever gonna get, like, people live like crazy at a wine bar, you know? My only concern is setting a precedent for this street. Like, if we approve this, and then somebody comes back and it's like, oh, well, we're just beer wine and we just wanna open till 12, and you approve this, that's my only concern. I think this place would be fine, especially if they had limitations. Like, I don't like the idea of them serving outside. You're right, this is very much like family place, and we don't want to turn it into like another Dime Square.
Exactly, you know? That's what I'm gonna say.
And so if, with the limitations of it being a plaza and not serving outside, I feel like that would be okay. Again, it's just the precedent thing that I get concerned over.
Yeah, totally. You know, in Chinatown, which is my neighborhood, we've just had a wave of, you know, seemingly well-operated, very upscale, elegant wine bars that just, with the addition of any type of outdoor space, have turned into a nightmare. We have Ladaz, we have Time Out, we have Casetta. We're gonna see what Bar Oliver turns into, but it really has been a trend. And every time I see it's like an ongoing joke in the neighborhood now. Oh, it's what is going to be a wine bar. Yeah. So I don't know. I believe that Annie is a good operator, and I've been to her restaurants. They're fabulous. But definitely, it being on Doyer Street in this historic part of Chinatown, I feel like we have to give it a little more thought. And I don't know about this one.
Annie, did you meet with the two neighborhood organizations at all? Did you have conversations with them?
I have emailed with Jan. I offered to meet, but we didn't get a chance to meet. And then I've emailed everyone on the list. A few on the Lower East Side emailed back asking for copies of the application, which I provided, but I'm actually not sure what the other letter of opposition is from. But I did respond to everyone who emailed me.
Yeah, it was Think Chinatown, which is actually a cultural group. I mean, it's people that live there, but it's a cultural group.
And they opposed it?
Yeah, which should actually, they should.
What did they oppose specifically, the hours or the outdoor? Because she's agreeing to not.
She is agreeing to no outdoors.
I think it was also another license.
Yeah, it was kind of the general concern.
Chinatown is being taken over as a drinking spot.
Yes.
And
yeah,
people are concerned about the historic nature of Chinatown.
Yeah, I think Chinatown they were opposed to granting another license on Doyer Street. They're concerned about people spilling out into the pedestrian plaza, consuming their alcoholic beverages.
And I'm not worried about people streaming out.
If they're saying that, adding a liquor license to Doyer Street adversely impacts the quality of life in this otherwise quiet neighborhood, and there's a naturally occurring retirement community nearby. Many seniors live in the small apartments, and then they Above and around Doyer Street, the community will be ill-served by a licensed establishment, including noise, drinking, public drunkenness, smoking, vaping, traffic, litter on the sidewalks, especially in the nighttime hours when seniors and families are trying to rest.
I mean, I don't think, look, it's such a small, capacity. I don't think spilling out is gonna be an issue. And if you're not allowed to drink in that plaza, the drinking outside is not gonna be an issue.
I wanted to mention, as someone who grew up actually going to my first I used to go to the beauty salon on the second floor of Doyer Street with my mom growing up. I'm super aware of what Doyer Street means to the Chinatown community, and I'm really honored to be looking at a space on Doyer Street. And my hope is that, like, I think Chinatown, you go out to dinner and it's wonderful. I'm hoping to be additive to the neighborhood and just offer something else that people can do. And the hope is that, you know, if you are having dinner and you stay for a glass of wine in the neighborhood, you then maybe will go to a bubble tea shop for dessert, or you'll go around the corner to the Chinatown ice cream shop and end up actually spending more time in Chinatown rather than leaving and going somewhere else and spending dollars elsewhere. I know there is a senior community that lives there. I spoke with a lot of them when I actually went out with our family friend. And people have seemed pretty excited to come by. We'll see if that happens, but that's at least been the feedback that I've gotten as I've met people in the petitioning.
If I could say, you know, I don't think anyone thinks your specific business in itself is a problem. I think what it is generally what happens is people go from one place to another. So the outdoor noise and everything is not people necessarily drinking outside, it's people going from one place to another. And you mentioned that you're a wine bar, but it's full liquor. So it's not really just a wine bar, because a wine bar that closes at midnight most of the time is different. And I do think this is not, legally, if it is even beer wine, there's no way to stop it. But I think just a concern that I've been hearing is from people in Chinatown that, obviously care very much about their community, is that it's being taken over by just eating, drinking, like much of CB3 is. Again, that's nothing about your business.
For what it's worth, I'm not even installing a full bar. If you look at the 4-seat bar, there's no sink, there is no full bar display. It is for pre-batched cocktails, which will be prepped ahead of time. And there will only be a small selection. The current plan is to have 3, and it's just to offer something else to someone who may not want to drink wine or be able to drink wine, and to offer something as an alternative.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be, I think a lot of the concern from previous meetings too is taking a very unlicensed raw space and then giving it at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
With a full.
There's no going back to that.
Totally.
What was the?
It was a
location
spa.
previously? It was a spa?
I think it was a spa, yeah.
I took over, it was actually a noodle shop. It was called Doyer's Old Town, and it was a Malaysian Chinese noodle shop.
I think that's the one where I used to get anchovies now.
This is the worst.
Yeah,
Which storefront is it?
it's this one.
It's right next to that famous.
Got it.
Normal.
Yeah, it's right next to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
just such a
I would
tiny
feel
street.
better if she had met with
No.
Jan.
And
I'm ready.
Tank usually comes out to these, voices their opinion. It's a shame they're not here.
Yeah.
I did offer to meet with Jan, and I don't think I actually got an email from Think. I didn't get an email from Think. I would have been happy to meet with either, or I would have been happy to respond to Think had they reached out.
I think with the precedent issue, the historic nature of the street, and then just the Chinatown community group showing up in opposition, I feel like I can't in my conscience vote yes on this one.
Would you consider scaling back hours or switching to beer and wine only?
I would be happy to consider scaling back hours.
Well, she's already said midnight. She's gonna post midnight, right?
She's gonna post, yeah, she said her posted hours will be midnight and with an occasional special event.
Can we stipulate for like New Year's Eve or Lunar New Year that they could do?
Oh,
New Year's Eve, anybody can apply.
Anybody can apply for 8 a.m.
But I mean, generally probably how we could word it is the posted hours will be midnight with a possible special event opening no more than, I don't know, whatever we agree to, 6 times per year or something, I don't know.
How's that?
And that would not
be. I would agree to that. That works for me.
You said you would agree to that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that simplifies a lot.
So it's
So it's midnight.
midnight.
No, liquor.
He didn't say beer wine yet.
Liquor,
No,
liquor.
she didn't
Oh, I thought she did.
Liquor midnight.
No, my general.
We have to
Just
strike a
like I
lot
said,
of those
anything that
signatures
goes
because they
assistant,
were
it's not really a
businesses
problem.
or outside of the 2-block radius.
This is a tough one for me because I just feel like if we're gonna grant
It's
a
just a
brand new
person.
liquor license in an unlicensed location,
Yeah.
2 a.m. or even if it's 12 full liquor, it's just like,
Yeah.
I would need to see some sort of community support for this, like more signatures at the very least, maybe people from Doyer Street coming to speak. Like that takes a lot for us to go from unlicensed space to a licensed space. And I feel like in good conscience, we have to show that it's really showing a community benefit or at the very least, overwhelming community support for it. And I don't think, and I know you've got really successful other restaurants and they're great, but I think we do need to see more community support for this.
Are there signatures from Doyer Street?
Yeah, I did. I will say, like, I did try my best. I got some signatures from Doyer Street. I understand from what my super who lives on Doyer Street has said to me is that there aren't actually that many full-time residents on Doyer Street. Some of the apartments are occupied, but they're not living there full-time. So there aren't actually that many signatures to collect. And it's been hard to find people like on the streets because it's winter. So some of them came a little bit further afield from Park Row, but I thought that was still close enough. Some of them came from closer to Madison and as far as Hester, but it was considering all of Chinatown.
I don't expect there are many people living on the street.
No.
And I assume there's some rent control apartments that people keep.
There's
They don't live
Is there anybody that would support at midnight?
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna know across the board if you wanna know where I am.
Okay.
Me as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong
Jam
signatures
was
now on the right page. I
Yeah.
just wanted to
What?
say, it was like maybe 4 people.
Yeah, can you bring Jan back? I'm assuming he's still on.
Hi, Jan, I'm gonna promote you to be able to talk.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jan.
Did you have a specific question?
So I think the question was there a reason why you didn't meet with her? You just are you opposed 100% and it doesn't, there's nothing really that she would say or that you could work out that you would support?
I think Megan had nailed it. You know, when we looked at the questionnaires, we have to consider people coming to us with opinions either for or against. And it was overwhelmingly that there were too many signatures that were just so far away from this that they may not have understood the severity of that plaza. But also, we did not get people supporting, because we do actually, as a block association, get people contacting us from the neighborhood, not just the applicant, saying that they would like to support this. And, you know, we have supported licenses in the past if it was a different circumstance. But overwhelmingly, the neighborhood felt that this can potentially bleed into the other people on the block that have OPs wanting to also become concessionaires. So imagine if the other people on the block now start asking for concessions, just the way Annie is. We're no longer looking at this as a public plaza anymore, which kind of defeats the purpose. But also the way that the tables and chairs are now already kind of hinders a normal pedestrian plaza function. So I just want to make sure that you understand that. And it's also just the fact that there was really a lack of support in general.
So one thing, Jan, she's agreed, at least at this point, she's agreeing to say she will not use the outdoor space for commercial use, and she would have to come back and come to us as well as go for, you know, an alteration to the SLA. Does that change anything that she's agreeing not to use the outdoor space at all, including the pedestrian plaza, or even if she was allowed a sidewalk cafe? I don't think they are in that case, but.
You know, as Susan had said, I think it's very much in flux. This is something that's very new. It's also new pedestrian plaza. This is still being worked out in the neighborhood, but in other neighborhoods, for instance, in block associations in Brooklyn, where they have designated block plazas, they have enforcement issues. So I think the city itself is trying to figure out who's in charge of these enforcement issues when things go wrong. We're looking at essentially a small space that can have a reverberation like a canyon. And even though Doyer Street has not so many people that live there, Pell Street is full of people and it's a few feet away. So also the parishioners at the church have expressed that they have already experienced impacts in the morning when they come to open on a Sunday, for instance, for services. The previous Saturday is something that they've had to deal with, sort of the remnants of that. These are existing issues.
But right now, she's agreeing not to use the outdoor space, and she will have to apply. If she is, that will be later down the road. Does that change anything for you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't believe that it does, but thank you for the consideration.
Isn't the plaza managed by Chinatown Bid, the partnership?
I think that there is some confusion there, Susan, because there are private chairs that are not supposed to be in a public plaza. So that is an issue that maybe is an enforcement issue that's been left over from COVID. So I think as the city's still trying to figure that out.
Isn't the partners, so the city doesn't actually manage them, they all have partners. Isn't that Wellington's, Wellington?
You know, I can't speak for Wellington or the bid. I can just tell you and report to the committee what the existing conditions are. So as you said, I think that as Kate Shearer from DOT, which we were in communication with together, has admitted that they're still in flux, that these things are still being worked out, which means that there is potential to have alcohol serving even for 29 days on the plaza. But imagine if the other ones are doing 29 days throughout the year as well.
So aside from that, the concessionaire, which I don't think that will happen, particularly with some of our open space problems we've had in Chinatown, the DOT's really rolled, just FYI, DOT's really rolled back what some people are allowed to do. But I do want to say, I believe that is managed by the bid, and I do think they are a good manager, as opposed to some of these places that are managed by, you know, just by a restaurant or something. And I do think if there are any problems, we should be alerted to it and work with Wellington, because I have no doubt that he would, you know, ensure that everything is followed. So, you know, please let me know if there's problems that are existing there.
We will. And I just wanted to have one last thing. You know, the concept of Chinese food paired with alcohol, whether it's wine or hard alcohol, is a few steps away, and Chinese Tuxedo has done that for a very long time, very successfully, and that has a very wide, diverse crowd that goes there. So I feel that this is not only redundant, it really is an example of not being a public benefit. We have plenty of places to drink wine. Bridges is around the corner, Apotheque is there. These are not places that need to be repeated.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Okay.
So when we did during COVID have problems around, complaints there, they were from residents on Pell Street, I believe.
Yeah.
Not Doyer.
Yeah, I'm with Megan. It's a tough one, but I'm leaning to the issue of, it is unlicensed. It's a significant area.
Yes.
And the community organizations.
The communities,
It's ambiguous.
the community, we have two different community organizations that are opposed to it.
There's a ton of wine bars in the area.
I will say that I know those places serve wine. I don't think their focus is on wine. It tends to be more cocktail heavy, whereas my passion is wine, and it is in pairing wine with Chinese food in particular. And I do think it is a different offering to the neighborhood. It would be it would be seated, and it would be more about enjoying conversation at the table rather than a dance floor or a bar or standing kind of with loud music. So it really is a very different concept.
I love the concept. The location is which I think is what a lot of you are saying.
Are you guys even against beer wine?
I'm not, I think that changes things.
It's not, she says.
Yeah, right. Especially.
All right, does everybody know where they're leaning?
I think it sounds like we're all kind of leaning toward the same way, I think.
Right.
It sounds like we're not really fully in support of, given it's an unlicensed location, given the history and the significance of Doyer Street. It seems like we're mostly all kind of leaning toward not being comfortable with this.
It's never been licensed,
It's never been licensed.
No.
so that's something the SLA will definitely take into consideration.
Okay,
So, we need to come
Yes.
out with our guidance that
we need to.
points people into going to previously licensed
Yes.
places.
Okay, so it seems like, I would then make a motion that we would deny this application for a full liquor license at 1517 Doyer Street, given the fact that this is an unlicensed location. It's a very culturally significant and important area, and a street area in Chinatown. It's a pedestrian plaza.
Would I have the ability to go out and try to get more signatures from residents on Pell Street and more community support?
Can she withdraw and do that and come back with the support?
Yes, if it's something you want to do and you want to withdraw and then try to build up some more community support, and even, it sounds like the Chinatown core probably won't change their opinion, but you have every right to reach out to them if you'd like, and same with Think Chinatown.
It may not also change the opinions of this committee, because it's not just the support.
Yeah, part of it is, I think,
A lot of it also is like setting a precedent for what's happening in the future of Doyer Street.
Particularly on that street.
it's an unlicensed location, which we're supposed to give it more thought, because there's a higher standard for approving an unlicensed location. It needs to show a major community benefit. And even though it sounds like your concept is great, and I don't think this is specifically about you, for me, it's more specifically about the location, and if you were coming into a previously licensed location on that street, I don't think any of us would be having this discussion. But given that it's unlicensed and trying for us, at least for us, speak for myself, to justify some kind of community benefit, I'm struggling with that in this location.
I will also mention that that storefront has been closed for over a year, which I understand is not the same thing as like being open with a liquor license, but for what it's worth, it was a closed storefront for over a year and they really struggled to find someone to take it over.
Oh, maybe they should lower the rent.
Okay, so it sounds like at the moment we're moving toward a denial vote. If you had mentioned, I don't want to cut you off, you had mentioned about possibly going out to receive or to try and get more support. I know I'm going to say that even if you were to come back next month with more community support, I don't really think that would change my vote.
Same here.
Same.
Just given its location, and I think we are not just here on Dwyer Street, but all across Community Board 3. We're trying to think more, give it more thought when we're looking at unlicensed locations because it's happening more and more often. And I just don't know that I would be comfortable with this, even with additional support from residents. But that isn't entirely, you're right. If you want to do that, I just don't know that honestly that it would change anything for me.
Yeah, I think I would like to just take it away and see if I can get more community support. And I'm happy to come back next month.
Okay. So, and you have that, entirely up to you. If you are going to do that, you just need to send a letter to the office saying you're withdrawing for this month and that you will not go to the SLA without coming back before us.
And resend your 30-day notice. You don't have to go to the post office. Just in your email to Ed Chan, just attach the 30-day notice again.
Okay, will do.
Okay, so yeah, you know, and I think Chinatown's information is listed on the website, isn't it?
I don't know, but you can Google them.
But yeah,
they're
but no,
they're pretty big.
I would suggest trying to reach out, you know, maybe to some of them and just, you know, find out what their issues are, if there's anything that you could do.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we are moving on to item number 6 at Cave at 103 East 2nd Street. That one was a tough one.
Yeah.
What's the administrative hours for beer wine approval?
12.
So
We should have actually
Frank-
mentioned that to her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We didn't specifically mention that to her.
Frank, we're promoting you to panelist in the
But that's only for
moment.
beer and wine.
That's
Beer
only
wine,
for
that's
one.
what I
Yeah.
said, yeah.
It didn't seem like she was interested in switching to beer.
She wasn't, yeah.
She also wants to have a certain number of nights a year till 2.
Yeah.
I could understand Lunar New Year, but
I don't know. Do people go out to drink on the New Year? I don't know.
Stay
That's
home.
a tradition. People, it's a family thing.
Okay.
Frank is your
It's not
client.
like, it's not like people
It's
come
not
in.
New
Hi,
Year's
Frank.
Good
evening.
No.
How was everybody today? Happy
Good.
Valentine's Day.
We're doing well. Is the client here, Frank?
Should be.
Yeah, there's someone.
Yeah.
Razor. Oh, okay, there we go. We got
Can you
him
see me?
promoted. Yep, we got him promoted. Just give me one quick second to, can I check the signatures? I think we have this with black ones. Okay, I'm gonna give a quick summary and then we'll hand it over to you for anything else. So this is At Cave LLC is seeking a full on-premises license in the premises located at 103 East 2nd Street between First Avenue and Avenue A. It's an application for an establishment of 74 people, 9 tables, 17 seats, 12-foot bar with 4 bar stools, a full kitchen serving food during all hours of operation, no TVs, music at background level. There are 2 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location is currently licensed for off-premises service. This applicant has no experience in a similar business. There were 0 through 1 complaints at this location in 2018. We did not receive any support or opposition to this item. They are proposing hours of opening no later than 12 p.m., closing by 12 a.m., Tuesdays through Sundays, not use outdoor space for commercial use. Will install soundproofing to ensure no noises audible in nearby apartments, close fixed facade. We have background recorded music only, no live music DJs, promoted events, scheduled performances, or any event which a cover fee is charged. No unlimited drink specials, will not have happy hours. So, okay, is there anything, Frank, or is it Q? I'm sorry, Kai, Kui?
How do you pronounce your name?
Chi, sorry. So Frank or Chi, do you have anything you'd like to add, correct, change what I just summarized?
No, it's a fairly innocuous application, to be honest.
Okay. Is there anyone here, Michael, from the public to speak to this?
Helen, no, Helen, yeah.
Okay, we have one, looks like we have one person from the public. Helen, we've promoted you.
Thank you. I actually did submit paperwork before the deadline on Friday in opposition.
Hold on.
Licensing.
Sorry, maybe I missed that, Helen. That might be
I
my.
did it at 1 o'clock. I did it to the head administrator, and they said they were forwarding to the head of the committee. I had the emails. My main concern starts off as soundproofing. The business that was below us was a retail, so it did not have to be soundproofed enough for any kind of restaurant or a bar. And I know the licensing says restaurant, but we kept on being told it's a Japanese bar, whiskey bar, in every conversation I've had. So that is concerning. And I reached out back in October and November to start the conversation on soundproofing and didn't really get a serious response until the withdrawal of the application last month from your board. And at this point, which for 3 months, I've asked for some information about the soundproofing. My apartment's directly above the kitchen and another tenant's directly above the open bar restaurant area. And there's literally just 1 inch of wood between us. Before.
Okay, Helen, you did send it to the office and it was forwarded on to me. That was my fault for not mentioning that, but yes.
I went to the application with some of the mistakes, like the restaurant versus bar. That licensing is it's not grandfathered. They left in 2021, so they can't inherit it, from my understanding.
No one can ever.
Yeah, no.
I'm not an expert. That's just my understanding of reading your paperwork on your website that I went through. So these are my issues. I've been here for 25 years and I want to stay in my apartment. I went through this once before with the people own the Lucky Chang's at 101 East 2nd Street before that was closed down, about sound and not being taken care of properly. I do not want to go through this again.
Yes. Thank you, Helen. I think we'll give the applicants a chance to respond.
It's nice to meet you, Helen. We're looking forward to being neighbors. Do you want to discuss the soundproofing issue? Hello, Kai?
Yes, so as a result, we already hire a very professional team. They are licensed, soundproofing guy. They already started installation progress, and we gotta fix that issue definitely.
Did you get Helen's emails, or how did you try to reach out, Helen?
I think he moved her off, but.
Yeah, I can.
No, sorry.
She didn't reach out to us to Friday.
No,
Well, she did say that she had tried to speak to them and didn't get a response.
Yeah, but who?
She said that she spoke to the proprietor starting last fall.
Can we ask her?
We're back. Yeah, bring her back.
you. Yes, I forwarded my text, my entire text conversation. I wanted to be open with everything that I tried to do and the responses. And it's always initially very sincere, but no follow-up. Continually, no follow-up over and over again. I followed up with the acoustic team last week, and I understand no contract was signed. They've only provided some insulation. The rest of the plan they gave at Cave has not been approved yet or paid for. That was what I was told by the owner, Igor. If that was done, if I knew the soundproofing was taken care of, the issue with the ventilation fan being outside my window, I want a great business. I want to support a business that would succeed and add to the neighborhood. But I cannot do it at the cost of my day-to-day living.
Of course, and there's really, easy ways to make sure, I mean, not necessarily easy, but there are absolutely ways to make sure that the exhaust systems don't disturb you. There's baffling systems that could go around them. You can, sometimes it's a problem with the engine, sometimes it's a problem with just the fan. But there's ways that those could be addressed. Chi, would you be able to stay in contact with Helen to talk?
Can I say something?
Sure.
They have never followed up with anything. It was just part of my problem. Since the beginning, they didn't have phone numbers on their permits. I'm not saying your problem is constructed. That's not your job to solve, but it's a sign of their inexperience in this. They don't know enough to follow up with the tenants. They never handed out the tenant protection plan. The phone numbers on the front of the door were fake numbers, 00000. I couldn't get a phone number from the contractors. When you call the contractors, they wouldn't answer back. Two of us worked directly at home above them, and we couldn't get a contact for weeks to discuss the noise issue. So while I think I can work with them, I've been trying. I do not get them reciprocating. I'm not the issue. They're not reciprocating and responding in a timely manner.
Right, that's what I was just about to ask the applicant. So is there a reason why you didn't respond, Chi?
So I don't want to hurt anyone's feeling, but I can forward you, if you need the evidence and proof, I can forward you a whole conversation text message.
I did. I sent it to them. They have it already. The whole thing, they already have it. I told it all
You
out.
gotta let us talk.
Let's let the applicant talk now, okay?
Yeah, so if you want to see the whole conversation, I can show you the conversation between my contract manager, which is Max. Right, wherever she throws out the question, we reply within the same day or the next day. Even my acoustic lighting team, right? We hire very experienced and professional guys. They even have conversation with the Helen. We can forward that all the email and text conversation to you as the evidence backup.
Okay, so the soundproofer was in touch with Helen?
Yes.
Okay, is that right, Helen? Oh, we lost her again, okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay, fine.
She's back. She's there. I caught her.
They came and did testing. I'm not saying they don't reply by email within a day, but every time I ask to follow up to find out what the plan is, I don't get a response. Oh, tomorrow. 3 months later, I still haven't seen it.
Okay.
That's the problem. I'm not saying they didn't respond to emails. That's why I pulled the entire chain to show you, because I wanted to be fair, to show what they did and didn't do. I don't want to wrongly accuse of something they didn't do. Yeah, he would respond eventually, and sometimes very fast, sometimes not so fast. But I would never get the plan or the information.
Okay, have you?
That's it. And it hasn't been completed because we can still hear all the noise downstairs occurring.
You stop and also.
Okay, thank you.
Has the soundproof even started?
Yeah, we have the material there. We are having the guys to do the installation.
So Chief, is there a plan?
It's already started. So officially, it's already starting. It's already started.
So I can understand that it's taken some time to develop the plan, and Helen might have wanted an answer like right away, but I can understand you work it out with the contractors, get the money together, and it takes some time to happen. But you can assure us that there is a plan in place and you are taking those steps?
Yes, I guarantee you, everything's under progress. We can we can show you the design, the soundproofing, and the evidence that we're working with the contractor. I think we begin already like almost a month. And the first layer on the ceiling and panel is already done.
What sound engineer are you working with? Is it someone we know?
Let me ask Max to forward you the contractor's company name.
No, the sound engineer.
The sound engineer, I think you mentioned a sound engineer, didn't you?
Not Firestein, Clint.
You are working with Al, okay.
It's not Firestein, Clint.
No, it's not.
What's the
but-
company?
But is it another company that, it's a sound engineering company though, or just a contracting?
Let me ask Max. Let me ask him which guy he hires, and I forward you.
Environmental building design.
Okay, environmental building design. Yeah.
Okay.
They're sound engineers.
Yes.
So can we get a copy of the sound?
Yeah, can you
plan?
send, you said you can ask Max to send that over to us?
Yeah, I can do that. Yes, definitely.
So can you commit to, because as you've heard, I think we mentioned one of the applications earlier, in these buildings, especially when it hasn't been a licensed establishment or an eating and drinking establishment, the old buildings can be very hard to soundproof and very difficult, and it can be a big issue with people that living above those spaces. Are you willing to commit that you will ensure that sound is not audible in the adjacent apartments?
That's their standard for every application.
It's what we ask of all applications, especially going into older residential buildings.
Yeah.
So yes, you're willing to agree to that. And as well, I know the HVAC equipment, which is also a big problem in these older residential buildings, you're willing to resolve that issue as well?
Everything we do is following the DOB code, otherwise we won't pass any.
No, DOB code is not, we're asking to go above and beyond the DOB code. The DOB code has a certain level, we're asking for inaudible.
You talk about two different things, Clint. You mentioned HVAC.
I mentioned the sound, but there's also the DOB sound code too, which is not.
The sound isn't an issue. He's already said he's not going to allow any sound to be heard by any residents. We agree to that.
The second issue
with saying HVAC is going to be according to code.
But is it located right outside her window though?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's what she said.
Because that's what she said, and that can be, even if it's to code.
You're talking specifically about the exhaust, the cooking exhaust, right?
The vent motor.
So we're asking the applicant to work with the tenant to make sure that she's not bothered by the sound of the exhaust and the noise below. That's what we're asking.
Which is one of the biggest problems around here in these old.
And I want to
buildings like
hear
restaurants.
from him that he is willing to work directly with his tenant upstairs to make sure that she's not bothered by those two things.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, the soundproofing, I'm going to email you, it's gonna be higher than the DOB standard, and we coordinate with the tenants to do the necessary works to maintain everyone's happy. It's always important that we taking care of the neighborhood, right? We want to open our restaurant right here. We want to serve in the neighbor. We never looking for any harmful actions. We're always looking for harmony.
Just don't want to get any complaints about the exhaust.
Yeah, because that's a big issue that we have in a lot of these older buildings. Both the sound, but you were agreeing to making sound inaudible, not an issue anymore. But the HVAC equipment, I'm still a little concerned that you're saying it'll meet DOB code. But if it's right outside her window, it can meet DOB code and still sound like a jet engine outside her window.
And DOB code doesn't mean it's going to meet DEP code for the sound.
Where is this lady's apartment?
She said directly above the kitchen.
I know, front or back?
Where's the kitchen, in the front or the back?
Yeah, where's the kitchen?
What floor does she live on?
She said it's directly above.
She said directly above, but
Isn't the vent supposed to go all the way to the roof?
Sometimes.
I wouldn't assume anything without diagrams and knowing her apartment and everything.
So it's the
Like in
kitchen's
one
in
of
the
my
back.
places, it doesn't go.
So then
all
she
the way
must
up,
be
there's like a little back.
The code is to the roof.
Not always.
He just goes like.
you have a second little section.
If there's a back,
Yeah,
back
yeah.
smaller roof, sometimes it just goes to that smaller back roof. Like
Doesn't
Lucky Jack's or.
doesn't it have to be
ones that
10 feet though? 10 feet from somebody's apartment window?
I mean.
So
I think it is.
I'm confused that she's mentioned about the kitchen exhaust coming like right underneath a window. How could that be?
Bring her back. I mean, I don't want to keep going back and forth, but I'm very uncomfortable with the HVAC issue because that's a big problem for people.
All right,
That's.
Okay.
Guys, I can explain the fan issue.
Yes.
My bedroom is directly on top of the kitchen. So the kitchen's in the back. They mounted the intake fan to the fire escape right outside my window, 1 foot from my bed.
I can't. That's not legal.
That's not legal?
No.
They mounted it to the fire
The-
escape,
it-
right? Well, they'll have to clear that up.
They mounted to the fire escape. And so it's right below, it's 5 feet from where I sleep.
That's ridiculous. That can't happen.
They've got to clear that up anyway, 'cause
Yeah.
that's not legal.
To the fire escape.
We'll have that inspected.
Yeah, we got, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that old previous?
By the way, I pointed that out on a tour that fire escape had some issues. They should not do that right after they mounted it. That was back in November.
My question is, sorry for interrupt. That was the existing or the new build?
I'm sorry. Goodness. Sorry, Helen.
Helen, we just brought you back one with this. It's just the last question, and then we're really are going to move on.
Yeah.
Is that he was asking? Was that the existing that was there, or the new that was newly installed for the intake fan?
New, it's brand new.
Okay, so it is
It's
something.
the intake for the, they told me it was the intake fan for the exhaust HVAC system.
Take a picture of it and send it to me, please.
Yeah, we can.
No problem.
Okay, so that sounds like whatever that is. It doesn't sound, as a non-professional here, that does not sound legal. So I think that would have to be addressed anyways.
Yeah.
But they are going to agree that the sound will be inaudible from soundproofing, plus they will address all of the HVAC
And kitchen
and
exhaust.
kitchen exhaust issues to not only make them DOB compliant, but make them that they are not an issue outside your bedroom window. Okay.
So just FYI, when we get complaints on these issues, we're not going to DOB for code, we're going to DEP for sound.
But everything else with the application.
Yeah, I didn't
is
see anything
fine
else.
to me.
Yeah, hours.
Yeah.
And she, I think even Helen said, she didn't have an issue with them being there as long as these issues were addressed and they were responsive.
Right.
That's reasonable.
So
she-
as long as they have the sound thing sorted, which we can put in the stipulations, right?
Yes.
Then, okay with that.
Okay, so does anyone else have any other questions or concerns? The application otherwise was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. So since hearing no opposition or no other issues, I think we'll just move on to the stipulations. Yep, so it's Chi Jiang,
Yes.
qualified representative.
Spelled, yeah,
I'm sorry, what was that?
that's how it's spelled, that's right.
Okay. At Cave LLC, located at 103 East Second Street, New York, New York. It will be a full on-premises liquor license. Will operate a full-service restaurant, specifically an Asian fusion restaurant, with kitchen and open serving food during hours of operation. Hours of operation will be 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Tuesday through Sunday. You will not use any outdoor space for commercial use. You will, because it's add something. You will install soundproofing to ensure that noise is not audible in the adjacent or nearby apartments. Say nearby because might be loud for 2 floors up or something to say. Yeah. It will have a closed fixed facade with no open doors or windows except your entrance door, which will close by 10 p.m. You want to have DJs, live music, third-party promoted event, any event which a cover fee is charged. No more than 3 private parties per month. And you heard earlier that a private party is an entire buyout, is what we consider a private party.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. You'll play on recorded background music only. Will not apply for an alteration without coming to CV3. Will not participate in pub crawls or party buses. Will not have unlimited drink specials, including boozy brunches. Will not have a happy hour. Will not have wait lines outside. Will have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering noise or crowds. Residents may contact the owner or manager at the number below. It's Q Jang, and it's 718-340-9156. And we are going to add under number 18 that you will ensure all HVAC and kitchen exhaust equipment meets code DEP and DOB code and is not
FDNY.
What?
Maybe FDNY in there too.
Meets all, just say meets all city codes.
And does not
And
cause a problem in the apartment.
And does not disturb apartments above or nearby, just
Nearby apartment.
does not disturb nearby apartments.
Because if it's at the.
It could be another, might not be above.
If it just reaches DEP code, but it's right where you sleep, that's
still a problem. Okay. Frank, G, is that okay with everything we've just,
Yes.
Okay. Then we will move to a vote. Stephen Ballinger?
Yes.
Sandy Lay?
Yes.
Guillermo?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Clint, yes. Michael?
Yes.
Okay. So this has been approved. Frank, you know the drill. We'll get this to you within the next day or so and get it back to the office signed and notarized.
Have a great month.
You too. Thanks a lot, Frank.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. Next, we're moving on to number 7. Blue Road Double Lobster LLC at 134 Ludlow Street. The applicant's an attorney here for this item.
Michael Kelly, I'm promoting, and Max.
There might be 2 Maxes. There were 2 of the applicants. No. Okay, so I'm gonna, hello, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and I think we have Max here. I do just want to publicly apologize that we forgot you last month, and we appreciated that you agreed to withdraw and come back this month. I will take full blame with that. I had your name on my list, and we ended the meeting and shut it down and moved on. So my apologies for that.
I've been here since last month, waiting.
Well, it's a 4 a.m. OP license, you know.
So I'm gonna give a quick brief summary and then we'll hand it over to you for anything you'd like to add. So Double Lobster LLC, doing business as Blue Road, is seeking a beer and wine license in the premises located at 134 Ludlow Street between Stanton and Rivington. It's an application for an establishment of 22 people, 5 tables and 20 seats, full kitchen, serving American comfort food, burgers, lobster rolls, chicken sandwiches, serving food during hours of operation. Hours of operation are all days, 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. with alcohol service ending by 12 a.m. There are 45 full on-premises liquor licenses within 500 feet. This location was previously Pig and Butter with a beer wine license that closed at 6 p.m. during the week and 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. The applicant, Max Lithlander, has experience operating Emmett's and Emmett's on Grove in the West Village. There's been 1 noise complaint requiring police action since 2018. 11 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor. They will have a closed fixed facade with no doors and windows, or well, with doors and windows closing by 10 p.m. Ambiance background recorded music only. Happy hour until 7, no party buses or pub crawls. And we'll ensure there are no wait lines outside. Anything you would like to add, change, address?
Yes. So Max opened in the beginning of January. He's been open since then. The idea of applying for the wine license is to serve our customers that are eating here from opening, well, not 8 a.m., but a normal time to midnight. After speaking with Max and knowing about the concerns in the area, he would like to change the food service closing hours to what he's operating at now. 4:30 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, 2 a.m. on Thursday, and 12 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday. These are his normal operating hours right now. We would also still stipulate the no alcohol service after midnight. He's not looking to serve alcohol to the people who are leaving the other establishment. He's just looking to serve them food. We do see a lot of people hanging around, getting food at other locations and eating outside. We're offering them a space where they can eat inside and be less of a nuisance to the neighborhood. If there's any questions, he'll be happy to answer them.
So can you just quickly, I was just typing in, can you just repeat the new hours you're proposing? It was 12 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday.
Correct.
Yep.
2 a.m. on Thursday.
2 a.m. on Thursday, and then 4:30 on Friday and Saturday?
Correct. That's just the food, yes.
That's just food. You're still proposing alcohol service at 12 all days?
Closing at midnight, yes. No alcohol after midnight.
So it closes, right? All right, so we're closing at 12.
It's not closing, he's stopping serving.
He's stopping alcohol service. So his new hours he proposed. So what he's proposing is he would operate. Now, are you still your hours were originally 8 a.m. opening all days. You're still proposing to open at 8 a.m. all days? So it would be 8 a.m. to midnight. 12 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday. Alcohol stopping at 12 because everything closes at 12. 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Thursday with alcohol service stopping at 12. And then Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. Alcohol service is still ending at 12.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Susan.
Okay, I'll speak to that. I've actually had all these conversations with Michael, and I'm sure he's already had them with his client. So once you start serving alcohol, of course, you give us more weight as far as restrictions. The reason for our stipulations is not because we think people shouldn't drink alcohol after a certain hour. It's because of late night noise. And what you're doing is you're trying to actually have drunk frat boy food, to be honest. And when all the bars close, they're still going to be hanging out, just like they might at a food truck, to eat at your place because they'll be open till 5. It's that situation is a big problem on Ludlow, one of the worst. You know, it's next to Orchard, then Ludlow. I would say, you know, that's the crowd that it seems like you're trying to get. As far as stop serving at midnight, there's no way anybody can enforce that. Police are not going to go in there. You know, somebody could get that permit, but there's no way anyone would be able to enforce it. So I think it just doesn't, staying open till 5 a.m. doesn't resolve the problems in that area.
All right, so the reason Max wants to stop serving alcohol at 12 is he doesn't want people, like you said, the frat boys coming in and continuing to drink while they're eating in there. We have not had any problems although it's only been a month and a half, we have not had any problems. And he has been open, and whether he gets the wine license or not, he'd still be open at these hours.
Right.
And we stopped.
You're putting yourself up for restrictions when you serve alcohol.
But not really early hours, but
The previous business that had beer and wine closed at 6 p.m. during the week and 7 p.m. on the weekends. They were pretty much like a lunch and brunch place was what they were going for.
So this is like really extending. what
Yes,
was
so this would be a drastic difference between what was there previously.
And we are open now.
Because we're not serving liquor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Once
we're not.
once you ask for liquor, you're opening yourself up.
In another kind of way.
Well, that's also another reason why he wants to stop serving at 12. He doesn't want to feed the problem alcohol wise.
But I think,
but he does want to serve the food.
And I think it's kind of a catch-22 because, you know, serving the food and serving, you know, the type of food, I'm not criticizing his menu, but that's going to be, you know, that's the type of food that people are going to go to after they've been at the bar, which is what I think is a good business move on your part. However, what that's doing is now adding to part of the problem, which is the late night crowds on the street that the police have actually came to us and said they can't contain. So my fear is, even if you're not serving alcohol, it's still adding to the crowds.
Well, he has been open. He's gonna, I guess, continue to be open there. This way, you know, what we were offering instead of the 5 a.m. was to cut down drastically during the week and on Thursday and a little less on Friday and Saturday. So he's operating like that at this point.
It's
you know, whether he gets wine or beer, his restaurant's still going to be open. We're giving, you know, a place where people who are hanging out there, eating in food trucks, eating on the street, screaming, we're giving them a place to eat inside where they're much quieter, or have been for the last month and a half.
Michael.
Well, and I mean, I will just add to that, you know, the month and a half has been January, which isn't necessarily the peak time for people screaming outside, but.
You're now making it our responsibility. When he has no alcohol, it's not our responsibility. You're now making it our responsibility. That's the difference.
I don't know. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this? I don't know. I'm trying to just decide in my mind if I see any way that I would be okay with any hours. I don't even know if I'd be okay with 12 during the week and 2 on the weekends. I think in this is kind of ground zero in the you know, the Lower East Side problem area. I'm hesitant, and I know you can continue operating completely on your own without a liquor license to whatever hours you want. I don't know. Does anyone else have an opinion or thought?
Can they get a beer and wine license administratively and then still operate as like a quick service restaurant late night till 5?
No.
No, they can't do that.
So the administrative is to close it.
Closing
He's not closing at midnight.
Yeah.
That's the difference between administrative.
The whole point is late night noise. It's not that the beer is bad. It's the late night noise. That's the issue.
If I may, the problem seems to be like with the noise. These are, you know, for the most part, individuals leaving the bars, like, you know, full liquor establishments that are located, you know, in that vicinity, you know, pianos, whatever, you know, kind regards, all these kind of late night bar spots. That's where the noise, you know, people that are leaving those areas, that's where the noise issues are coming from. You know, me providing food until late night. You know, again, like Mike said, it's an indoor space, not a counter service or food truck like most of these spots are, which do leave people kind of in the streets hooting and hollering that are intoxicated. You know, I'm in an indoor spot, and like I mentioned before last month, you know, I'm not looking to let, you know, heavily intoxicated, you know, off the hinge people into my restaurant, because I am still looking to maintain, you know, more elevated space, and there's plenty of people that are respectful, after midnight, that are looking for good food, that I'm looking to attract. It's not that hooting and hollering crowd that's coming from neighboring locations, that can't even handle themselves. And frankly, there's already enough of these businesses around there that are supporting that, and we're not really a part of that, nor do we want to be a part of that for the sake of our business.
People would be hanging out there until 5, and then they would start it's not just you, and people be on the street.
Yeah, so I think to Susan's point, they are gonna go to the bar, then they're gonna be hungry afterwards, and then they're gonna come for something to eat from your place, which means then they're just gonna hang around longer in the area. And I'm not saying, but like if they're leaving the bar and leaving the area, then that's at least kind of getting the noise out sooner, but and again, I know that's a good business model for you, and that's what you're looking for, but it's contradictory to the issues that we're having in that neighborhood.
But Mike told you all this before the meeting, so it's just repeating the same thing.
Does anyone have any thoughts?
Has anybody spoken against them?
No, we did not hear from the dwellers.
Which they would have been front and center.
No, we haven't heard from them.
We haven't heard, and I'm surprised, but
We emailed them.
they did, yeah.
Didn't the dwellers come in like 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
3 months ago?
I don't know.
I mean, they've been around, but
But that's not them. I mean, I get complaints, the area.
Yeah.
And I do get complaints from people who live there.
Complaints from the police.
And I get complaints.
It's bad down there, I know.
It just is what it is. It's one of the worst places in the country.
I know.
Okay, I mean, I would make a motion given, I don't know.
Can we stipulate them to earlier beer hour, like beer and wine hours for what's like proper dinner, like 10 p.m.? And then let them have the late night crowd?
But there's
no way to enforce it, and it doesn't address the problem.
Where they sneak booze or beer after.
It's just hard to enforce.
Yes, I mean, so I'm gonna tell you, most people don't follow their method of operation or anything they're supposed to be doing. They advertise all their violations on Instagram. No, seriously, it doesn't address the problem we have in the area, which is what I think we're responsible for doing.
This issue
Again, it's not
isn't-
the beer that's.
I'm not as concerned about the beer service in this issue. It's strictly just adding this another late night business, replacing a business that closed at 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're making the
If
problem
they're
worse.
not going for beer and wine, they can stay open as late as.
If they're not going, if they don't want beer and wine, they can stay open as,
24 hours.
But I think.
Well, they can, but we don't have to approve it.
Yeah, once we're going to beer and wine, that's the only carrot that we have, or the ability to control anything in that area. So, I was contemplating 12 during the week and 2 on the weekends, but that's still.
6 and 7 before.
Yeah, so it's still not, I'm gonna say personally, I don't think I could support this.
Agreed.
That's 3.
So,
All right.
okay, so I would make a motion to deny the application based on the oversaturation of the area, the late extreme, even if it's 2 nights a week, the extreme late night hours, the problems we've had in there specifically from the police, as well as the late night crowds from all of the other businesses, restaurants and bars.
I second that motion.
So Guillermo seconds. So we'll move to a vote. Stephen?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Guillermo? Yes. Megan?
Yes.
Clint? Yes. Michael?
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately, your application was denied. So we will not, I guess, we will not be sending out the stipulations. I was gonna say, we'll send you the stipulations, but no, we will not be sending out the stipulations, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Right.
Just, I don't see any way that that would be
You know, that
a benefit,
neighborhood.
not even a benefit, but that it would be even a net zero. I just think it would be adding, and I mean, the food might be great.
Keep going too.
But
They could go till 6 a.m.
well, and now if they don't go for beer and wine, they can stay, and they might make more money that way anyways.
Yeah. I understand.
Okay, so moving on to the next. Number 9, which is Fives Dunn Hospitality LLC at 179 Avenue B. We've got Mr. Dunn. Searching, and I know we just got an email.
Hello.
I did not.
Maybe 11th.
Yeah, it's between 11th and 12th on the east side. I got an email today. He did forward. He had a meeting with some local residents. He forwarded us his resume.
Oh, yeah.
And I was forwarded that today as well, which
This was that meeting.
anyways, I'm gonna give a quick summary of this item and we can move into, are you here, do you have an attorney or representative with you or just you?
Just us today.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna give a quick summary. So, is it Dunn or Dune?
Done.
Done. Okay, that's what I thought. So Dunn Hospitality LLC, doing business as Fives, is seeking a full on-premises license in the premises located at 179 Avenue B between 11th and 12th. It's an application for an establishment of, is it 74? Is the C of O 74 there or under 74?
Pardon, can you repeat that?
Is the certificate of occupancy for your space under 74? It wasn't filled in on the application.
Oh, yes, yes. The certificate of occupancy I've got right here is for 100. We would keep it at about 60.
Okay, but technically though, your certificate of occupancy is for 100. You could figure that out. So anyways.
Correct, yeah, it is set at 100 from the state, from the city.
Perfect. It has 5 communal bar tables and 40 seats spread across the kitchen and bar countertops, a full kitchen with food prep area serving food during all hours of operation, no TVs, small speakers playing music at background level. There are 7 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location is currently unlicensed for the sale of alcohol, though it was licensed through 2020 when the restaurant Guac was the last establishment at this location. This applicant has never had a license for sale of alcohol, but does have restaurant and hospitality experience, though I think that may have been explained on the resume, which I got earlier today, and I was not pulling up in my email moments ago. I'll let you talk about that in a second. 6 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location signed a petition in favor of the application. They are proposing hours of opening no later than 12 p.m. and closing by 1 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday or Saturday. They will not use outdoor space for commercial use. They will install soundproofing, close front and rear doors and windows at 10 p.m. No happy hours, no wait lines, and no unlimited drink special or boozy brunches or party buses. And I will hand it over to you to add anything that I may have missed or you would like to elaborate on.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to introduce myself and my business partner here, Liz, and then I'd love to talk about Fives for a little bit. Myself, I've been a chef for 20 years. I come with 10 years of restaurant management. I come from Brisbane, Australia, where I previously held ownership of a food truck for 4 years, employing up to 12 people. In mid-2020, I moved to the States to marry my now wife and start my new life here in New York City. I've spent the last 4 years in New York working as a sous chef, specifically a sous chef so I could learn from the chefs of the city, learn more about the city, and learn more about the neighborhoods that I'm going to live in. My friend Liz here, who's going to come on board here as the GM with me, we have a working history of about 8 years in Australia. She was lucky enough to also move to the United States mid-2020 to be with her life partner. She has 15 years of industry experience running bars and 10 years of management within that. A little bit about Fives. Fives is a small micro kitchen, if you would. We will have 5 items of food on the menu, 5 cocktails, 5 beers on draft, 5 beers in the can, and 5 wines. Within the 5 foods that we're serving, we'll still always have a full entree, a rice option, a noodle option, a vegetable option, and a snack option. They will be the 5 food items that complete our full program there. With the food that we're looking to sell, we're trying to keep it regional to New York City and neighboring New York State and neighboring states. We'll be buying all of our meat from upstate New York. We'll be purchasing whole pigs and quarter cows and whole chickens in an effort to remain as sustainable as we can. We'll be buying organic produce from Lancaster Farm Fresh in Pennsylvania. Because of the meats and vegetables that we're trying to use and we're trying to stay as local and seasonal as possible, that's why we've selected 5 things on our menu, so that any given day when the farmers tell us what they send us, we can adjust our menu to make sure we always have the freshest available items on there. We've spent the last few weeks trying to engage with our community. We've spoken to all the residents that live in the building above us. Well, we've spoken to all the apartments that live in the building above us. We've spoken to our neighbors to the left and the right as well for support. Over the weekend, I met with the East Village Community Association, and I think had a very constructive conversation with them. Is there anything I missed on there?
No, I think we're pretty good.
Cool. I'll pass it back over to you for more questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and we'll move to the public. If there's any members of the public here that would like to speak. I see Laura Sewell is here.
Yeah, hello. I'm Laura Sewell from the East Village Community Coalition, and I facilitated a meeting with the East 12th Street Block Association. Michael had reached out to them. So we all met on Saturday. And, you know, Michael is a for real guy. He's very personable, and I think, you know, his intentions are good in terms of what he wants to do. The Block Association received him generally well. We shared our concerns for late night liquor establishments, the problems that we have on the weekends and all of that. And we just reviewed some of the things in the application that were, you know, we weren't clear on or had a different take on. So one of the things that we questioned were the hours, because most of the places on that block close midnight during the week and maybe go up to 2 a.m. for a couple of days on the weekend. So we mentioned that and the resume, which I'm glad we see. You can tell from speaking to him that he does have experience in this business and, you know, had good answers to most of our questions. My main concern as far as, you know, the EVCC is concerned, is that this is a considered an unlicensed location right now. It's closed in November 2019, Guac, and it has been vacant for quite some time. So this was a pre-pandemic closure. It's been vacant for quite some time. And we personally just can't support additional full liquor licenses in this oversaturated neighborhood. I would say that the Block Association is more concerned about East 12th Street than they are Avenue B. And I don't think that you've heard from any of them from what I'm hearing. So I think that's my summary. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Laura. Is there anyone else here from the public to speak to this item? Okay, seeing none. There was a mention of, just in the resolution, that the Elam House of Worship is 143 feet away. I was just kind of looking that up now. I didn't do this earlier as I should have.
I've looked at that on Google Maps, and I was pulling up 350 feet from door to door.
It's like around the corner.
Which one is it? It's not coming up.
From 179 Avenue B to, I believe they were, I'll need to pull it up really fast.
But either way, I'm pretty sure I actually used to live across the street from this space.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of which one it is. If it's around the corner on 12th Street.
It's on Avenue B. The church is on 12th Street around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. No. But so I'm surprised that's listed on the SLAs because that building is not exclusive. That's the one I thought you were talking about. That building is not exclusively used. Yeah. That building is not exclusively used as a church. There are market rate apartments in that building and there's So the SLA, I'm surprised, you're right, it is actually on their map, but that shouldn't be considered in there. It wouldn't be considered under 200-foot law because it is not exclusively used as a church.
Okay.
That was what I wanted to confirm and look up, but yes, it is not part of the 200-foot law, so you're clear from that.
Great.
So don't worry about that. Okay, so that answers that question. I share Laura's concerns a little bit that it is currently an unlicensed location.
Okay.
That's nothing, I'm not saying there's anything you can do about that, but
at the same time, it has been vacant.
at the same time, it was previously licensed for many years as two different establishments, and they were generally okay. I know technically though, once it's vacant, basically more than 6 months, the state will consider it unlicensed.
Okay.
That being said, that's the only licensed establishment on that side of the street on that block. Or I guess it's unlicensed, but it would be the only licensed establishment on that side of the street. The Indian restaurant that was the corner is now a bodega.
Correct.
Better than Google Maps. So how are you feeling about the hour?
Well, and the establishments on the other side of the street generally haven't been problems to this point.
One is a laundromat with plants.
One is a laundromat with plants.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Peruvian chicken place.
I mean, I like the fact that, that it sounds like a real restaurant,
Yes,
it sounds like a legitimate restaurant.
I do agree, and I could afford it to you guys now, but I just glanced through his resume, and I mean, it's clearly a restaurant.
Yes.
And it's also something that doesn't seem like we have something like that in our neighborhood.
Agreed.
I'm interested in the concept, not that I decide these things based on concept so much.
Right.
But it is a really cool concept.
What do you feel about the hours?
I think the hours are reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, it's one during the week, 2 on the weekends.
Yeah, I
it's
don't
not
think
bad.
that's crazy.
I mean, just don't come back in like a year or something, or 6 months and push for 4, I guess,
But I agree with what you said, and the fact that it's being vacant since 2018.
Yeah, we do have a lot of issues on Avenue B with, no, I was gonna say with crowds, that's more like Lower Avenue B.
Yeah, right.
Lower Avenue B is a little worse. Up there, it's not.
It's quite,
It's a little quiet. It's the restaurants or the businesses up there aren't quite the crowds as we have on Lower Avenue B, though we don't want to.
We don't want to
start that.
Yeah,
Right, so, yeah, but I think those hours are reasonable. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve with the stipulations written.
Yeah, I could second it.
Okay, so motion second. Any other discussion on the motion or?
It's with what we have, everything.
Yeah, with the stipulations.
Yeah, that's what we agreed, so.
Okay, so Michael, if you want to go ahead and bring the stipulations up on the screen, we will go through those so we see what we're voting on.
Did they have a 4 a.m. prior as guac?
I believe it was 3 a.m. prior as guac.
Guac and Mercadito.
Oh my
God.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Mercadito was before guac,
I haven't heard that.
Mercadito had this amazing guacamole flight that was like had pineapple guacamole.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I'm also saying, because I lived across the street during that time, and I'm pretty sure, I think Mercadillo, I don't remember what their legal hours were, but I think Mercadillo was open till 4 some nights, but they may not have legally been allowed.
When did they go out?
2016.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2016, 2017 was when they
Really
closed.
good food.
And it was vacant for a year or two, and then Guac moved in, and Guac didn't last long. Okay, so back to that, I digress.
Sorry, can I ask one question before we vote on this? I know we're in the middle of the vote. But I am seeing that this is like a small tenement building with obviously apartments above you. Do you have soundproofing plans?
Yeah, so we're gonna be looking at what currently installation is installed, but I planned on renewing the installation anyway. And then after soundproofing plans, considering acoustic paneling, I've attached a sound management plan as well with my application.
And you're also agreeing to installing soundproofing to ensure no sounds, vibrations are audible in nearby apartments as well, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll read through the stipulations. It will be, I'm Michael Dunn, as a qualified representative of Dunn Hospitality LLC, located at 179 Avenue B, New York, New York. Will offer a full OP license, operate a full service restaurant, specifically counter service, kitchen, and kitchen, yeah. With kitchen open, serving food during all hours of operation. Hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., Friday, 3 p.m. to 2 a.m., Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 a.m., Sunday, 12 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Correct.
I will not use outdoor space for commercial use. And what I meant to look this up too. You're not using the backyard space, are you? Or
No.
because there was a garden and there was like Mercadillo had a step down enclosed. Are you using that?
There's a step down fully enclosed room that's a part of the lease.
Okay. And that is,
I can't speak to any garden, but the space that I've looked at is all fully enclosed.
fully enclosed, okay. And is that on your, do you know, is that on your certificate of occupancy to be able to use?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's between you and DOB anyways, but just.
Right.
Okay, so you will not use outdoor space for commercial use. You're not having security, but you will install soundproofing to ensure noise is inaudible in adjacent and nearby apartments. You will close any front and rear facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. or anytime live music is playing. You don't have DJs, live music, third-party promoted events, any event which you cover free of charge for scheduled performances. You will play ambient, recorded background music only. You will not apply for an alteration without coming to CB3. You will not participate in subcross or party buses. You will not have unlimited drink specials. You will not have happy hours. You will not have a wait line. You will have a staff person to ensure no loitering, noise, or crowds. You will post the stipulation by your license. If residents may contact the manager or owner at the number below. Michael Dunn, 347-574-5960.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, we'll move to a vote. Stephen Ballinger.
Yes.
Sandy Lay.
Yes.
Guillermo Zabiglio.
Yes.
Megan Joy.
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer. Yes. Michael Lavario.
Yes.
Okay, so the office will be sending you out the stipulations to get signed and notarized. They will include instructions on what to do with them and when to get them back to you. Just please follow those instructions and we'll move on from there.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you so much, board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we are moving on to our last item of the night, which is number 10, Fox Face Natural, 189 Avenue A. All right. Is the applicant or representative here for Fox Face Natural?
I got Dale, Lori.
Hi, good evening.
Hello. Okay.
Audio working?
Yes, we can hear you. Sorry about that. I just was.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be afforded an opportunity to speak just quickly. I think I'm a strange face to CB3. My partner, Michael Ferrari of the same firm, had a death in the family. I am standing in his stead and ready to proceed whenever CB3 is.
Okay, well, welcome. I don't, if you weren't here in the beginning, I'll give a quick summary. I'll hand it over to you and your client, the applicant, to add or change anything. We'll move to the public, move back to you, and then move on to a vote. So. Okay. This is Be a Good Neighbor doing business, LLC doing business as Fox Face Natural, is seeking a full on-premises license, an upgrade to a full on-premises license, and the premises located at 189 Avenue A between 11th and 12th Street. It's an application for an establishment of 74 people, 9 tables, 29 seats, 1 customer bar, approximately 23 by 10 feet, full kitchen with a prep area serving food during all its operation, no TVs, background level music. There are 31 full on-premises liquor licenses within 500 feet. This location is currently operating at this location as a restaurant and has been operating since 2021. And prior to that, they were at a different location in East Village. There were 0 commercial 311 complaints with police action at this location. We did not receive any letters or emails, anything from in for or against this item. 23 residents who live within 2 blocks of location signed a petition in favor. They are proposing hours opening no later than 7 a.m., closing by 12 a.m. all days. They will not use outdoor space, have a closed fixed facade, ambient background recorded music only, no happy hours, no pub crawls or party buses, and we'll have staff responsible for ensuring no loitering, noise, or crowds. Okay, is there anything you would like to add or correct or anything that what I just said?
I would love to add if I could for 2 minutes. And I think I heard 23 individuals sign the petition. When I added them up, I got 33. I apologize if that's wrong. My math.
So usually what we do, we go through, and there may have been some that were outside of the 2-block area.
Ah, got it. Okay.
So we consider just within the 2-block area, so we generally strike a few that if they're farther out than that.
Understood. Thank you.
Probably have more, but that was the number we got.
Okay, so aside from that clarification, if I may, as you're aware, this is an application for an upgrade to a full liquor license so that the restaurant Foxface can offer their clientele a more expansive drink menu. As you're aware, they're currently licensed via an RW 341 restaurant wine license. They've been operating for years with no negative impact on the residential neighbors. This is a sophisticated and innovative restaurant with a celebrated menu and a calm atmosphere. Grub Street called this NYC's most original new restaurant. They were James Beard semifinalists. They've got stellar reviews, 3 stars in New York Times, Michelin recommendation. But in addition to being critically acclaimed, they attract a sophisticated clientele. And by that, I mean, I saw a $933 bottle of Chardonnay on the menu, $658 bottle of wine, $90 entrees. So this is a polished, quiet, sophisticated, and calm clientele and atmosphere. Notably, there's no outdoor food or drink. The kitchen's going to operate during the full hours of operations. There's no reservations accepted after 10 p.m., no walk-ins after 10:30, and they are well isolated from the outside. As you noted, 28 seats. And also notably, the principal of the LLC, or at least one of them, Sivan Lichat, is on the Zoom as well. She's a manager and principal, and so there's always going to be a manager on site as well. Lastly, they've got 4 small Sonos speakers to preserve the calm and atmospheric playlists, and they've got a ceiling that is soundproof with 2 layers of sheetrock. And I think everything else in the application speaks for itself, but happy to answer any other questions you have.
And I mean, just to clarify, really, you've been in operation for several years now. The only thing you're changing is upgrading to a full OP. Nothing else with the business is changing in any way, correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yep. Okay.
So I think I do see a few people here, I think from the public with their Zoom hands raised. So we're gonna move to the public for any comments.
All right, we got Laura.
Hi, Laura. Please go ahead.
Hello. So I think we have a couple, I'm speaking both for EVCC and the North Avenue A Neighborhood Association. So once again, you've heard the operation described accurately. I'll never know. I'll just leave it at that. I work for a nonprofit. But operation described accurately. And there is, like very well managed reservations and little impact from this business on the neighborhood. The only thing is, the concern that should they choose to move to a different location at some point, we've worked very hard with CB3 all these years to limit the number of liquor licenses in this neighborhood in a very, very saturated area. So our concern would be any legacy that's left behind, that the hours would not be any later with full liquor. And the only other thing I want to flag is that their current operating hours on their application say 7 a.m. and they're never open during the day. They're open, they're open evening and maybe late afternoon on the weekends. So if there's an opportunity to correct that, that would be great.
Laura, can I answer those? So first of all, you're very much invited to dine in Fox Face Natural. Even though we have expensive wine bottles, we also have $15 glasses of wine.
If you'd like to hold on one moment, we're going to allow all the public to respond with any questions and let you respond all at once. That way we don't have to keep going back and forth. So I think there was at least one other person. I saw Dale Goodson had his hand raised.
Is Laura done? Because she still has more time.
Oh, Laura, were you done, Laura?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. You still had time left on the clock, so we didn't want to cut you off if you still had more to say.
I got Dale.
Okay, Dale Goodson?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Yeah, Dale Goodson, President of the North Avenue A Neighborhood Association. I live at 195 Avenue A, half a block from this application. We urge the committee to deny this application for a full liquor license that has no public benefit at an address that has never had a full license in a neighborhood already known for oversaturation of restaurants and bars. This stretch of Avenue A is well known to Community Board 3 for being overrun with large, noisy crowds throughout the week. And there will be no public benefit whatsoever in adding another full liquor license to our neighborhood, which is already filled with restaurants and bars. A restaurant specializing in fish and meats is not a public benefit. The only thing we will experience with the addition of a new full liquor license is a continuing erosion of our quality of life. Please deny this application.
Okay, thank you, Dale. Okay, so now, Ori, please go ahead and you can unmute yourself and respond to anything you just heard.
Thank you. I'm Sivan. Ori is my partner.
Okay.
Happy to answer all of those. So first, regarding Lauren, worrying about the prices, we do have very affordable items on the menu, as well as more expensive ones, and we welcome everyone to come and dine with us. Regarding the hours, we have asked for 7 a.m. till midnight because this was our original wine application and we did not want to create any changes. We have started recently serving bakery items in the mornings. So very welcome to stop by on Fridays and Saturdays right now and pick up babkas and baked goods. But that we're gonna expand. We don't necessarily need a liquor license from 7 a.m. As I said, we just wanted to keep the same hours that were on the original application. We're happy to start serving at 11 a.m. if that makes a difference. And then regarding the last concern about the area being saturated, on our side of the block, there isn't a single licensed establishment. On the other side of the block, I believe there is one establishment with liquor license. There are bars about 2 blocks down and about 2 blocks up. And to be honest, I really don't feel that the existence of bars selling cocktails to the crowds has any significance on, what we do, which is a nice sit-down restaurant with sophisticated clientele that all we want to do is allow our guests to enjoy, in addition to a nice glass of wine, also a nice glass of whiskey or amaro or aperitivo. Yeah, so really not looking to change anything at all in how we operate. Just offer more options to our guests.
If I may just add to that, just quickly, as this community board is no doubt aware, I'm a lifelong New Yorker, and I actually I lived at 220 Avenue A during law school for a little bit, and I was very excited when the Sound Library opened up. It's no longer there anymore, but I was excited because Avenue A used to be not such a pretty place to be at any time of day. And around that era, when it opened up, I saw that they were selling $300 vinyl, and I got excited that that is the type of business that does include and increase everybody's quality of life. To speak to Mr. Lavario's comment about quality of life, this is not something that reduces anybody's quality of life. This is certainly not the kind of restaurant where anybody is ever outside. At the last page of the application, you can see Ms. Lichatz explains her plan to manage any traffic or crowds on the sidewalk, but they've been successful since opening their doors in curbing any activity that's out on the sidewalk. And again, these are sophisticated clientele. By the way, I did not mention the highest wine list prices to note that it's exclusionary in any way. It's just a higher end place. This is the type of place that you might see in the West Village, but it's nice to see this type of stuff in the East Village, and I think it inures to the benefit of everybody in the neighborhood. And this is not the kind of sort of a fratty late night sort of place, especially if they're not taking any walk-ins after 10:30. They don't take reservations after 10, and the kitchen stays open only around till midnight when the last table leaves. And so these are not the type of hangers-on. They just want to offer a more expansive drink menu. So I think, if anything, patrons that would be at this restaurant but have no choice because it's just beer or wine might just go somewhere else, which just adds to more traffic. So I think it does speak to preserve, if anything, the quality of life. And that's all I have to say so far.
I would like to add, I know these two operators from a long time. During the pandemic, they ran a sandwich shop that was, a great reprieve during those times, and they did it at their own risk, and that was something that the community is always grateful for. That I've been lucky enough to go to the restaurant, and it's definitely what they're describing. In response to the person who said there's no public benefit, I also know some of the staff that works there, and they are extremely happy being able to be in an industry that is still hiring and teaching some of the most sophisticated skills of cuisine from around the world. So I think there's a benefit from that on the employees that they have. And I think as I said, they've been in the community for a long time. I think I understand Laura's point, but I feel like their concept and with the place and the way they decked it out, there's more life there in that establishment. I don't see that they're gonna move, to a bigger place, because if you go there, you see how the place kind of like fits into the vibe that they're trying to build with, earlier hours, etc. So I would.
Yeah, I'd also just like to note that the closing time is 12.
Yes, exactly.
I would like to add that, there is a public benefit, I believe, for this restaurant, because there's no other places around here that serve game meat.
True. Yeah.
And
was
there
tartar?
kangaroos?
Yeah, kangaroos are best in Australia. So you don't have to feel bad about that. Yeah.
Also, somebody said, was there a complaint about the pricing? That's not our business, and this food is expensive to buy. I could imagine. So.
No.
So this is, I don't want to say I struggle with this one, but this one, it is adding a new license in an area that was previously a problem that they have now finally got under control. So it makes me a little bit nervous, but they're not changing anything else with the method of operation. They're simply adding alcohol. I don't think alcohol is going to change the nature of this business. My concern is, as mentioned, if you do extremely well, you might need a bigger space, and then we're going to be left, but we'll have to deal with that at that point. But there's also the point, what we're starting to look more closely at with license, because we're getting a lot of upgrades and a lot of extension of hours. You're not gonna be able to come back in a year. I mean, you have every right to come back in a year, but we're not going to extend your hours or anything more. I mean, I don't know, I'm not threatening you, it's not that. I'm just saying, what we're trying to look at is, we're looking at what impact things have on the neighborhood. Adding liquor to your establishment, I don't think really is going to change the impact on the neighborhood. Extending your hours would drastically change and have an impact on the neighborhood, and that's not something that I feel like this committee would really want to consider. So I'm letting you know that that's not something that we could keep inching up, because that's what we're having a lot of in this neighborhood. So just letting you know that. And then if another license comes in, if they are so successful that they need to move to a much bigger space and incorporate all the crowds that they're receiving, we'll have to deal with that with the establishment, and they would have to.
It's just their second space.
Yeah.
So hi, I'm just one comment. I'm Ori, I'm Sivan's partner in this. So while she's managing the restaurant, I'm actually working on a much larger space in addition. So we don't have any plans to to move or to change that restaurant. It's lovely the way it is, and we have a great lease. We plan to keep it, and just to the extent that we do more, we will open more spaces in the neighborhood. We don't plan to move this one.
And we definitely are okay with the same hours. We're not looking to stay up until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. That is not when people have a nice dinner, and we plan to keep serving nice dinners.
Okay, so I was making those comments as much for the committee's benefit as it was for your benefit as well, but just, it is something where, what we're trying to start looking at is the impact, not just of, of what we're changing or what we're adding. So anyways, does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I think you hit the nail on the head, Clint, with your previous comments. I
agree. Okay. So it sounds like the motion on the table is what was presented in the application. Michael, if you want to bring up stipulations, please. So this would be Sivan, is it Lahat?
Lahat.
Lahat. As a qualified representative of Be a Good Neighbor LLC, doing business as Fox Space, located at 189 Avenue A, would be a full liquor license, will operate a full service restaurant. How do you describe your restaurant? I feel like describing a unique restaurant.
Sure. We're an ingredient-driven restaurant, and as some of you noted, we like to serve game meats. This week on the menu, in addition to our kangaroo, is elk. We source fresh seafood. We try to present unique ingredients that you don't often see in New York. We import barnacles from Portugal.
Ingredient driven.
Unique restaurant is a good description.
It is a good description, but it's not very descriptive.
New American ingredient driven.
Natural restaurant.
We can leave it as, I guess unique ingredient driven. I don't know that. Anyways, that's not a big deal. With the kitchen open serving food during all, that is the one thing we need to discuss. So your hours, I know you say 7 a.m. to midnight. And as you mentioned that you're not always opening at 7 a.m., that was your last hours. So the way that we classify or way we look at your hours, it's, the statement underneath there, my understanding is it's no later than. So by saying 7 a.m., that means you have to be open at 7 a.m. every day. If you're gonna say, you could say, if you're not opening till 3, you could say, my hours will be opening no later than 3 p.m., closing by midnight every day. And if you wanted to be open at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. to sell pastries, we encourage you to open earlier because that provides more street traffic during the day in the neighborhood, which we desperately need. But if you say 7 a.m., then you really should be open at 7 a.m. every day. So I think we should adjust your hours to more of what you're actually doing. And then if you want to open earlier, you have that right completely, but.
Right. Okay, so let's change it to 11 a.m. till midnight. I am planning to serve lunches on all day, but so it should
Okay, so we'll change it to 11 a.m. to midnight, and then if you want to be open for breakfast, you know, that's more than, you're more than welcome to do that, but we'll say 11 to midnight then.
Have you seen?
And then you will not use the outdoor space for commercial use, no sewing, you will install soundproofing, but, I mean, soundproofing's already installed from when you opened originally, correct?
Yes. And
So
we do have an upstairs neighbor,
And
who
then-
has never complained about any noise.
Change that from will install soundproofing to soundproofing already installed, or actually, we're just gonna uncheck that because it's installed and you're not having issues, so.
Yes.
You have a closed fixed facade, no open doors or windows. You will not have DJs, live music, third party promoted events, any event in which a cover fee is charged, scheduled performances.
Sorry, I can't hear everything. There's some background noise.
You will not have, you'll play on beyond background and curb music only, not apply for an alteration without coming to CV3, not participate in party buses, not have unlimited drink specials including boozy brunches, will not have a happy hour, will not have wait lines outside, will have a staff to ensure no noise during noise or crowds, will post a stipulation by your license, resume, contact the manager owner at the number below, and it's Saban Lahat at 646-270-1449.
Yes.
Okay. We are going to move to a vote. Stephen Ballinger?
Yes.
Sandy Lay?
Yes.
Guillermo?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Clint? Yes. Michael?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion passes. The office will be sending out the stipulations with the instructions on getting signed, notarized, and when to have them back by. You should have those stipulations within the next day or so.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a couple more quick items.
One's a mistake, there's no budget stuff for this.
For SLA, we don't have budget, so that's, yes. The only thing I think we have something we've talked about at executive committee was each committee was going to kind of discuss their goals for 2025. We didn't really have an example of this for SLA last time, did we, Susan?
I don't believe so, but you gave great examples of the last example.
Yeah. I mean, I think for us, the main thing I think we should do is take a look at the SLA guidance, which I've circulated around in the last month or so to everyone. I don't think it needs to be a major overhaul at all. I think we just need to clarify some things and make some things a little more clear for both us and for other members of the board who don't come to the meetings and aren't aware of what happens here, as well as members of the public and applicants.
So, yeah, I want to hire somebody actually to do this, put it together for you, not to make the policy, but to take out all the duplicates and, organize it. Just haven't had time to do it. But I was thinking of going to maybe one of the grad schools, a planning person, but if someone knows someone, could be a lawyer, somebody in law school, or, if anyone knows someone that would like maybe 10, 20 hours worth of work remotely, let me know.
And what that, I think, it'll mostly just be, so there's a couple things in our current guidance that I think we just need to update to address some changes, both in the SLA and then as well as with the outdoor dining and everything else that has changed our landscape a little bit. So again, it's just going to be some updating and clarifying, I think. I don't think we're going to have major changes, but once we do the guidance, then we can kind of address it as a committee so that we are all at least understand, because right now things are somewhat up in the air sometimes. And then, I think the committee's going in a good direction. I still think we could possibly have, I think 7, if we were to have another member, I think 7 might be a decent size group. I don't think we want to get any larger. I've been on committees when it's been larger. And as we know, discussion can get crazier just continuing. So the more people, the more discussion. But I don't think one other person would necessarily hurt. But
someone in House Square, right?
We definitely, in all honesty, we could use a representative from Hell Square who actually lives and deals with the problems. And because, now we have 4 of us are public, or 4 of us are full board members. 2 of you are public members. We could then still have we could still add another public member because we'd still have more a large percentage of full board members. So that gives us that flexibility to add a public member that then they don't have the responsibility of coming to full board meetings, et cetera. So if you know of anyone that might be interested in, and again, we're blessed to have 2 bar owners right now that I think are both very fair and reasonable and can add something that the rest of us don't necessarily have knowledge of. So
I love when you guys grill people about the equipment.
I looked it up, it is 10 feet.
10 feet from the window. Plus, I'm sure it can't be attached to a fire escape. I'm sure.
Definitely not.
So, okay, so that being said, I think that was everything.
No, I'm just summarizing. So we're looking for someone for another member, and we're looking for someone for some consulting work is what we bill it as.
Okay.
And would you want to have like a standalone meeting to talk about?
Oh yeah, so what we're not gonna try to combine discussing the guidance at one of our meetings, because that would just make it cumbersome and long. So we will probably have to schedule another meeting.
It will be here and have to be open, right?
It has to be
It's still got sweeties, huh?
It has to be a public, it does have to be open to the public, so it'd be a
Bars not accessible.
full public.
No, we have a wheelchair lift.
Can we do it over?
I heard
Okay.
that one time that you had someone come down there in a wheelchair for that party.
They did not get stuck.
No, they just complained. It wasn't, I
You
just
know who it
wasn't,
was, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we once had a meeting in Rockwood Music Hall. So it would not be the first, and I actually went to Conflict of Interest Board first, and they said it was fine.
And we'd have to put that on like an agenda like a month in advance.
Oh yeah, no, it will be a full, we're not forming necessarily a task force, it's gonna be something the committee addresses, but we're not gonna do it as we know our meetings can be.
First thing we gotta do is hire someone to do it.
Yes.
If
Yes, we're gonna.
If someone knew SLA stuff a little bit, it would help.
Yeah, so, and just, as an aside, I've done this before in the past, but I'm making it a point now to attend the other surrounding community boards, SLA committees, and just kind of meet with their chairs as well to know what other people are doing, even though some of them are very different than us, but it's good just to know what's going on around us.
So can I say we're the most streamlined, I think, board in existence?
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, end the meeting.
All in favor?
Say
Yes.
No,
You
this
could
ain't
end it
Monday.
on your computer. So don't go.
I like this, the meeting almost being over, but not.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're disconnecting the Zoom.
Is that next?